tragedies that stopped us in our tracks. These are the headlines that shaped our week. And beyond the noise, we search for what really matters. The connections, the context, the stories behind the stories. Introducing Patricia Wayoa. And this is your weekly news roundup on Radio Generation, where every headline has a heartbeat and every moment counts.
Yes, good evening and welcome to the Generation Report, a show that breaks down the biggest stories that happened in the course of the week. And this time around, Generation takes a different direction. So Generations comes in big, bold, and with new voices in the studio. So I'm talking of none other than Hanifa Adan. So she's going to introduce herself. Also in the studio we have Brenda Soki. She's just done the news right now. So this is the discussion that we shall be holding this week. Tonight. And we are talking of the big stories, giving them a different perspective and also giving you our opinion right here in the studio. So I take this opportunity to welcome one Hanifa Adan. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Tricia. Very excited to be here. And before I jump into the introduction or who I am, I would like to introduce our new episode of the things you have probably forgotten about as a Kenyan. And we have part one, the Nairobi River Commission. The Nairobi River Commission was created in 2023. So following the big talks, following everything that we were promised, we should be by now drinking and swimming in the Nairobi River. But we are still, the Nairobi River is still full of all the drain around Nairobi. So going by the information they have shared on their pages, they have created jobs for 42,000 youths. And they have cleaned 84 kilometers of the river. Okay, they have cleaned, but with nothing to show for it, honestly.
Which section of these rivers?
Yes, so as we proceed to the show, I would like to say that we deserve more than vibes, and inshallah, we demand more from the Nairobi River Commission.
Okay, thank you. Let's also hear from Brenda Soki.
Thank you so much, Trish and Hanifa. Thank you so much for joining the RG team. I believe that this show is going to make it more lively, more big, and the success part of it also. So about the Nairobi River, I think I'll have to talk about it when we come back after the second hour.
Wow, thank you so much. So I hope you had a great week, and now this is the start of another new week, and of course we are expecting a lot of things that will happen in the course of the week, having in mind the big stories that happened last week, and some of them are still developing. So we are expecting to see a lot happening, to hear a lot happening in our country. So I take this opportunity to welcome everybody to this show. Remember, the show runs all the way from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. and it is no longer on Saturdays. We are talking of Mondays. So your Monday will be great because you have this team with us right here. So last week there is a lot of things that happened, and therefore please follow us on our social media platforms. Yes, quite important that you note that we are live and direct on your social media platforms. That we are talking of Radio Generation, Radio Gen KE, that is on our YouTube. You talk of the X, you talk of Facebook. We are live and direct right there. For those of you who want to listen and follow this conversation that is on your radio, please do so on 88.8 in Nairobi, 90.7 all the way in Mombasa and its environs, and 89.5 all the way to Garissa and its environs. So everything is live and direct. So without wasting much time, we are talking about IEBC. Last week we saw what happened. Yeah, kumekuwa na mambo mengi sana last week about IEBC. We are talking about leaders claiming that registration was done, and we saw after the registration there are people who have come out to claim to claim that they registered in Nairobi, but they can see in the records that they are registered in Garissa. So that and many, many, many others. Let's hear what our producer is playing for us tonight as we get into the conversation.
Waweze kurudisha kura kwa sababu hawakuelezwa bahari wa tunataka kuuliza IEBC. Wale watu wote kura zao zimebadilishwa bila kujua zikapelekwa Garissa. Wahamazishe hao watu waweze kurudisha kura kwa sababu hawakuelezwa bahari wamekuwa registered. The most affected constituencies are Embakasi Central and Embakasi West. Watu wamesajiliwa kupiga kura Garissa. Na hao watoto wanaomba sana wasaidiwe kwa sababu hawakuambiwa kura yao inaandikishwa wa. Ukienda kujiandikisha kura hakikisha kwamba umeangalia ile gadget inawekwa information ya aina gani, because we don't want our people to move from Nairobi. You live in Nairobi from January to December. You invest, you live here, you work here. It's only fair that now you also vote within your area. So tunataka tuulize IEBC na serikali kuhakikisha ya kwamba hao watu wa Nairobi ambao wanabebwa kupelekwa Garissa, kwa sababu finally hawataenda kupiga nini, hiyo data yao sijui inataka kutumika na nini.
Okay, you've heard about that. Okay, there's another clip that the producer wants to play. Please go ahead.
Mpaka 2007 hata huko nyuma, hizo register zilienda wapi? Records zilienda wapi? Tungetaka kujua ni nini inaendelea, sababu hiyo inamaanisha kwamba kuna watu mamilioni ambao mnataka kunyang'anya kura. Na mimi ningetaka kuambia Wakenya wajihadhari, sababu serikali ya UDA imeona kwamba wanaenda kushindwa na wanajaribu kutafuta mbinu zote ambayo ni mbinu chafu kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wanatolewa kwa register. Ile tunataka wafanye ni kutoa wale watu ambao wamefariki kwa register, lakini sio kwenda kusema ati tangu 2012 watu wajiregister upya. Ama wanataka kusema yule mtu yote ambaye alikuwako ameregistiwa 2012 na nyuma yake wote walifariki. Tungetaka kusema hiyo ni kitu ambayo tumekataa kama Wakenya, na tunataka register ikue vile ilivyo. Na pia ningewaambia vijana na ningewaambia Wakenya vijana, hii ni nchi yenu. Tunapenda vile mna register, lakini tunataka muendelee zaidi.
Standing order number 1 of the Senate standing orders, we need your guidance, Mr. Speaker.
Well, you've just heard the clips that we've played here in the studio. One is about the registration, the transfer of voters. Somebody has registered in Nairobi and realizes that their details are registered in Garissa.
Yes.
You've also heard about the re-registration that IEBC had issued something, and I know, Hanifa, you have something to say. Maybe you can just start from there.
The main issue with IEBC is the communication, the ineffective communication that they have, their strategy. IEBC has been on the spotlight concerning the same throughout this week. The issue of 2012, people who registered before 2012, IEBC just came out and gave a vague statement on it. So that caused a panic. So Kenyans went online to confirm their details and found out that the polling station and stream spaces were missing. IEBC did not come out prior to explain why they were missing. So after people went into another panic is when they came back and explained. I think that is not fair. They say to err is to human,
Yes.
but IEBC cannot afford to make mistakes. To err is to human, except IEBC. IEBC must not make mistakes. It cannot make mistakes, honestly. It needs to have a proper communication strategy. You cannot spiral people into panic every single time. You need to be well prepared. This is a very crucial time for all of us. This is a critical time. You know, people, according to InfoTrack, by the way, 2024, 50% of Kenyans already lack trust in IEBC. That should tell all of us something. They cannot afford. You must not make any kind of mistake. Even when clarifying on the matter, the commissioner was interviewed on Nation Media, and she came out and said condescendingly that ni watu hamjui kusoma. So she hawajui Kizungu.
Hawajui Kizungu. Wa Kenya hawajui Kizungu. Right. Yes.
She could have plainly explained that. But she came out not owning to the mistake. Yeah, sure. You know, but to such condescending tone. And Deritu came online and said, on mainstream media and said, "Nyi hamjui kusoma, you're blowing things out of proportion. Relax. It's not that serious." No. It is that serious.
It is. Okay.
It is that serious.
It is actually. Yes. So let's hear from Soki.
I would like to echo on what my colleague Hanifa just said. Concerns around voter registration and changing of polling station, the registration or something like that shouldn't be dismissed. Because I think as much as the commissioners say that it is like they are facing off those who registered from 2012 backwards, a clear communication should be made. Such a strong office as IEBC, I fight to kuamuka tu and then they come up with something and then they want you to impose to Kenyans. No, and I think the concern has come out in a wrong timing. That's what I can say. Sure.
I think maybe to say, just to read just a summary of what IBC is saying is that this is not voter suppression. They are saying that this is just simply cleaning up of a biometric system that has existed since 2022.
There's no clarity.
And that is okay.
So there's no clarity
in communication.
It's a communication, but it's not clear.
Because now the questions that are coming out is why now? 2012, and we are talking about people have voted. We voted in 2013,
2017, 2022, and now waiting for 2027.
So why now? Why are they cleaning it right now?
Just maybe to say to echo on what the commissioner said, a face out. But the face out, I believe, or rather I think it was not done in the right way. There should be a sequence on how to do things. At least the way Hanifa said, kukwena like a clarity, a communication that is very much clear, that on a certain date, or like they had said earlier, but it should be made clear. Where as a voter person, you are supposed to receive at least a message that is indicating Hanifa, or rather Trisha, your polling station is in this county, a certain room, a certain time, something like that.
And by the Kenyans don't even know, most Kenyans don't even know the difference between polling stations and polling centers.
Thank you. Exactly.
So they have completely failed, at ensuring that ordinary Kenyans understand the essential voter registration processes.
Does that back up on what the commissioner said, that Kenyans hawajui?
Not really. Okay,
does it really back up that?
As I sum it up, because of course this is a topic that we're gonna look at in depth come the next 2 hours, because we shall be having Honorable Esther Passaris in the studio. We shall also have Dr. Ekuru Okot in the studio, and of course they are going to dive deeper into this topic. So maybe ours will just conclude and say that with the many issues that Kenyans have around IEBC, trust issues. So IEBC has a lot of work to do, and it is not later, immediately. I think that is what we shall say as we move on forward.
Yes, they must work.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, credibility comes from transparency.
Yes.
So our next big story that happened last week is the issue of Gikomba market. That place, the wake of last week, we saw pale kwa viatu, wacha nipaite kwa viatu, ambapo we have seen so many families being fed from that. So I want the producer to give us what the president said about those demolitions, and also what the opposition said, because they came out and said something around it, and even what the traders are saying, because this caused a lot of mayhem in media and just across in the country. So let's hear what the president is saying.
Walikuja kuniona hapa, wafanyabiashara, viongozi wa hapa Gikomba walinitembelea hapa. Mimi nikawaeleza katika mpango yetu ya kupanga masoko Kenya, hatutaki kusahau Nairobi. Wakaniambia wenyewe ya kwamba tunataka soko yetu ya Gikomba kwa sababu ni soko kubwa ya kitaifa. Tunataka rais utusaidie kuja kujenga hiyo soko. Wakaniambia history ya Gikomba ni history ya mahali ya matope, sewage inapitia hapo, inachomeka kila siku na matatizo yake. So wakaniambia please, nikaketi chini na hawa hapa in this same field, na mimi nikawaahidi Gikomba mimi nitajenga vile ninajenga masoko ingine katika taifa letu la Kenya.
Well, this is what the opposition is saying.
Would you want to disturb people at 4 o'clock in the morning if you are doing anything lawful? And yet we remember it was at that same Gikomba where William Ruto the other day went and said he was putting there a market. So this inhuman treatment of Kenyans by an uncaring administration of Kenya Kwanza needs unreservedly to be condemned.
What happened last night is inhuman, it's brutal, it's unacceptable. It is persecution of small traders. And we ask William Ruto, we know, we understand your frustration that Kenyans want to send you home to be a one-term president. But why are you at war with the Kenyans? You are at war with the Kenyans. Why do you release policemen and other people with such vicious brutality in the middle of the night to persecute the people of Kenya?
We saw what happened in Gikomba yesterday. We saw what happened at Dari, Honorable Tuju's place.
Well, that was just a day after the demolitions took place.
Yes.
Of course, we saw the opposition went there. And then now the president had to respond to say that it is the traders that called him to come and assist them in the construction of a modern market. So I want to hear from
traders
yes.
are the one who are crying foul because of they feel they're misplaced from their marketplace and all that. But to start with the president's clip, I think during campaign UDA's mandate was tutajenga masoko, tutatengeneza mabarabara and all that.
Hustler nation.
Yes. So I think the UDA's mandate is functioning. Tutatengeneza masoko, tutapanua mabarabara.
Wanatimiza sera zao.
Exactly.
Yes.
What
and they sold to people.
Yes, that's what I can say according to that clip. But again, on the flip side, I think the market thing, there is a lot of misinformation and facts. The fact is, yes, soko inajengwa. The misinformation going around is it has been grabbed. Exactly. So I don't know what.
So even if for a moment we believe, you know, all the pictures and the designs they have shared online. So let us just believe. You know, they're going to build it.
We believe.
How do we honestly balance the rapid development and the struggles of the ordinary Kenyans go through? How do we balance the two? That is what the government always fails at. Even with the floods, they don't know how to balance the two. We are not seeing real designs, no timelines. Again, vibes and inshallah. So let's just believe. Even if we believe it might happen, how do you balance the two? And it's only the president and the Gikomba chair lady, Jane Muturi, who came out and said, yeah, we have agreed. We have agreed to demolish, you know, and rebuild this place. But all the other affected victims are saying different things. So who is fooling who?
Politics must play out. But I think those traders were given a 30-day notice.
They're actually claiming they
Kenyans
were not involved in any public participation or any sort of warnings.
For Singapore,
our new Singapore.
For Kenyans to move to Singapore, lazima kutakuwa na that transition.
Yes.
Transition must be there. And we as Kenyans, lazima kuna some 80 or rather 30, 80, 70% that are against it, but after that thing imekuwa sober is when they'll be like, unajua amefanya kazi, but the 30% ndio watakuwa in agreement with whatever that is happening. Again, I repeat this sentence: politics must play out. That's from the opposition side.
Well, from my side, I want to look at it from the perspective that have you ever been into that area?
Yes.
You've been there. Somehow mimi pia nimekuwa pale. So tunajua hali ya pale Gikomba and especially So for me it would be I would appreciate if kweli soko inakuwa modernized. That's quite important, and especially because at least for the traders, like, because I remember they were claiming that there are no even toilets, washrooms, they cannot, you understand the situation of the market. It is it will be a good thing if the government really modernizes the market, so that when traders are doing their business there, and again Nairobi being the capital city of the country, of course we expect that there is a certain level people expect to see for this country. But then again, now the government has a duty to be able to convince Kenyans, because of course Kenyans have seen, tumeona mambo mengi. Kenyans have been shortchanged so many times. So mnaambiwa this one, they are being demolished so that now you can mjengewe, and then what happens later is the opposite. So you realize that those who benefit from these things are different people. So I think if the government is able to convince Kenyans, and convincing Kenyans is to ensure that whatever they have told Kenyans they have promised is what they are going to deliver to them.
Are Kenyans really supposed to be convinced?
Like she says, we can only be convinced when things work. Not when they talk, when they promise, when they go.
So they're supposed to walk the talk, right?
Of course, they never walk the talk. That is why we have a lack of trust, you know, between the people and the state. It is because of such incidents over and over again. You know, there's no tangible thing we can talk about. That is why people, every time a new project comes up, we just jump into scrutiny instead of believing it's going to happen.
Okay, there's somebody on the line, somebody from Gikomba.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
We are good here.
My name is Samson Gugi Mugai.
Yes.
A businessman in Gikomba.
Karibu sana. Tuambie hali ya biashara pale Gikomba and what happened last week.
Wow, it was very disheartening, because as usual the government likes demolishing people's structures at night. And to be honest, the government had some very limited public participation at YMCA, a certain social hall along Jogo Road. A few people were invited, those people operating along the river. But what I want to say is that basically it was like a meeting. They were coming to inform the people that we will be demolishing and you will have to move 30 meters from the river. It's like the public feedback was not important. And unfortunately, they brought some military people. Those are the people conducting the public participation, which to me appeared like intimidation. People are not used to handling the military. So I would have expected other government officials to be the one to communicate with the people so that people feel free enough to express themselves.
Okay.
So that was around March. People were given 14 days to vacate 30 meters from the river. And then people said we were not ready. They asked for more time. They were told until the end of March. People didn't want to move out. That's where they get their living from. But now the government was decided. So people didn't have a choice. People moved, but out of not having any choice. So after some time, a new theory was brought that people are supposed to move an extra 20 meters so that the government can construct some market stalls to accommodate those people removed from the 30 meters and the 20 meters. And so people are very resistant. People, hata kama hawakupenda, they agreed to move away from the 30 meters. Now somebody else is demanding 50 meters. And unfortunately, they should have come during the day instead of having to demolish the structures at night. People lost property. If that was to be done during the day, people would have salvaged their property. So we felt very disadvantaged. And at the same time, the government was relocating people across the river to that other side. Those people being evicted from the 30 and the 20 meters. But unfortunately, there is not enough space. After a few people were relocated to the other side of the river, a lot more people whose structures were demolished have nowhere to go. And each trader was supposed to pay 5,000 shillings for them to have a space on that other side. So imagine the traders who did not have that 5,000 shillings in cash. They missed out on spaces on the other side. There was a theory by the PS for housing that we will refund you the 5,000, but that has not happened. So those people who did not have money, they felt very disadvantaged. They've been left out. They are camping at their old business places with nowhere to go. So there's a lot of disappointment, a lot of anger. We feel things were not done the right way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your call. Maybe Hanifa, you have any question for him? You just heard what he explained.
Yes.
Around.
I wanted to know, since it's the president and the Gikomba chair lady speaking, Jane Muturi. Sijui kama umesikia venye Jane Muturi alisema nyote mlikubali na wenye wanakataa wanacheza politics. Ni ukweli?
Si ukweli.
Does he speak for you?
No, that's not the truth. He's not representing his people. We feel ametuuza. In fact, nakumbuka nikiona hiyo interview kwa TV where our supposed chairman alikuwa anaongea. He was more pro government than the government officials themselves.
Okay.
We are very disappointed. Kama amekuwa mfuko, aongee kwa niaba yetu.
Okay.
He's not speaking on our behalf. Anaitwa Mbugo, tunamjua. He's not speaking on our behalf.
Okay.
Sawa. Pole sana, asante sana.
Okay.
Yeah, we've all heard what he has said.
Yes.
The 30 meters and then 20 meters, that makes it 50.
50, yes.
Yes, and then we have claims that some people did not accept the meeting, the outcome of the meeting. So they are saying they were just...
Majority of them actually,
yes. So I don't know, what are your opinions or submissions around that?
Okay, my submission is, I think the caller just said that they were told to give 5,000 shillings, if I'm not right, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So the question here is, on whose kitty was that money directed to? Was it on personal accounts, to the county government, or the national government?
Good question.
Yes.
Hanifa?
Yeah, he's just confirmed everything we've been saying. I'm sure a majority of people were against it. They just had the chairwoman coming out and saying, and I saw another clip the government posted of a Gikomba trader, accepting the new markets, which is okay. It is okay to improve. It is okay to have development. But how do you go about it? How do you go about these developments? You just want it to be a nice headline for everyone, for your external shareholders, for people you want to, for your target audience. But what happens to the ordinary Kenyans who are trying so hard to survive, with their lives marred by corruption everywhere? That is the question we are asking ourselves tonight.
I hope our leaders have heard the questions, because of course I know they are so much tuned to this show. So Kenyans would want that answer for that. Anyway, moving on forward, last week also we saw, we've been seeing what has been happening in ODM, the Sifuna and the other leaders in ODM party. And we saw after Sifuna was removed as being the SecGen. Of course, the case went to court, and again it was taken back to the party for them to decide. Yeah. So now, last week they issued that disciplinary, show cause later for him to be able to explain why he has been acting against the party's agreements, like what they agree. Sifuna has been doing the opposite. So I don't know whether you have anything to say around that. Maybe.
Well, I think Sifuna already made it clear to them that, and I quote, he said that they do not deserve him, and he cannot be the Secretary General of mediocrity. So
yeah, that's what he said. Yes.
Sifuna said that he cannot be the Secretary General of mediocrity, and he said, you don't deserve me. You don't deserve me. So hizi ni vitisho ndogo ndogo tu. Missing meeting. He's very scared. I'm sure he's very scared from where he is. But for a party that believes in democracy, trying to stifle dissenting voice is not it. That is what not what Baba fought for. That is not the legacy of ODM.
And even as per the name.
Yeah, very democratic.
So democratic. So why parties say they are democratic, yet they are punishing dissent? Like those people who try to speak against the management, there are those who try to disagree. They are being punished. So the question goes out to the ODM leadership. So are they really, is this discipline, or are they punishing dissent? I think that is the question.
Why should he be given a show cause letter, and he's no longer the member, or rather the ESG of that party?
No, he's still.
If at all I've quitted.
Legally, I say he is.
But here alisema he's not. You cannot force, huwezi lazimisha ng'ombe kunywa maji.
But you can't say you are not, yet you have not given in resignation. And of course, he cannot even tender in a resignation while this thing is, there's still a case.
I think he made it clear that he's not leaving ODM.
Yeah.
He's not leaving ODM. So that is what he said, yes.
And I was listening to some conversation, people saying that ODM needs Sifuna more than Sifuna needs them.
Yep.
The
Especially
Oburu
following
ODM,
the wave,
yes.
The current Sifuna, mimi ndio Sifuna wave going around.
Do you know how Kenyans change? Do you know how quick Kenyans can change? Like today Kenyans are singing, let me use this term, sorry. Today Kenyans are singing two term, tomorrow they'll be singing one term.
Nah.
That's how Kenyans change.
Nah.
So as much as maybe we can say that ODM needs Sifuna more than Sifuna needs ODM, then I'm for nay. Yeah. I don't think so.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Oh, yes, definitely. And before we reach 2027, believe me, there'll be more and a lot of uprising political parties.
Of course.
We will.
And as a change, you might think that atenda wiper, and then a change. Exactly. Yes, kutakuwa na a rainbow of color parties.
Me, what I know, one thing that I know is the fact that if you are not if you do not have your own political party in our country, most of the times you will be shortchanged.
Just right.
So for you to have that political power most of the time, you also need to have your own party. See what happened to the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. Yeah. See, so many of these leaders who have started political parties, like even the president himself, he had to break away from the ODM party to go and start another party for him to still maintain that political power and muscles.
At the same time, we've seen a lot of political powers and established political figures who are riding on someone's political party. Just be smart. Be smart.
Yes.
Okay.
Be smart.
Be smart. Don't try to outshine your master. That is according to 48 laws of power.
I would just advise.
I would like to break more, but
mimi nitasema Sifuna afungue chama yake. That's me. Yeah?
Yes. If he wants that freedom.
Yes.
To be who he
Fungua
is.
tu chama yako.
What he believes he stands for. Yes. Kama anataka, I don't know. It's very unpredictable. We can't even say anything for sure, Sai. But yeah, we are hopeful.
Well, another topic that we really need to look into or just say something around it is the issue of Ghana. Ghana, the other day, they opened up their country for all Africans. Anybody who has a passport, an African passport, that they can be able to get into Ghana freely. Yeah, they can operate in Ghana freely. I don't know what are your submissions because hata Kenya pia sisi tulisema kwamba tumefungua mipaka.
I think you are very generous. They're not enough they're not reciprocating it enough, the other countries. So Kenya has a visa policy for many nationals, but we are restricted. For instance, you can see what Larry Mado has been trying to highlight, getting into Nigeria. It is unfair for Kenyans to pay over $80 for visa, to enter Nigeria, and they can just do it for free. Free movement in Kenya for Nigerians, but $80 and lots of struggles to get into Nigeria. No, it is unfair. By the way, I tried to apply for a visa for Nigeria. You're paying online, and then they even ask you to pay in person. If you're not careful, there are so many fraud cases again. It's not fair. We have to look at, I don't know, our government really does not think about us at all. Because why? Why are they getting in for free? And we have so many restrictions and money to pay for a visa.
Okay, that's a genuine concern. Maybe from Soki?
From my perspective,
yes.
Ghana's free policy is a bold move that signals openness and could boost trade, tourism, and regional integration. The real test now here is how will they balance the ease, the ease of entry with security and proper system to manage movements. Yes,
I think those are the same.
Like we for Kenya,
yes.
I want to use the Somalia border and what has been happening. How are they going to ease more so on security parts? You know what visa free means?
Yeah, that is also a concern that was also for Kenya because Kenyans were really concerned about the security issues especially issues of security. Yeah, that is usually the biggest challenge, but it's a good and a bold move, like you said, and of course it will open up a trade because and also lead us to there's a time we were talking of an African currency, one single currency for Africa. Maybe we are headed there with Kenya, with Ghana joining Kenya, Rwanda, and even Seychelles in that. Yeah, maybe we are headed there, and maybe things will be better in future.
We might, because at the moment I think Ghana is the 13th position of higher population in Africa. Yes. So tuko pale, tuko ndani.
Well, moving on forward, yes, there's this one story that happened this week. I think we all saw the issue of Samburu governor when he was being called to account for the county expenditures and all that, county funds. So we saw what happened. He was called, he was summoned to attend to the committee, which he did not. And it's not even him alone. Remember, there was also the Nairobi governor, Johnson Sakaja, and also him. So when he tried to go to parliament, I think akashikwa pale, and we saw how he was handled. Yes, and of course this did not sit right with the residents of Samburu County. So I just want to ask a question because I'm even wondering, because when our leaders are being put into to account, residents tunatokea wapi? Yeah, so let's just listen to this clip and then now we can continue the conversation.
Vibaya! kaunti ya Maralal, kiashiria kwamba seneti ya Kenya lazima iwajibike. Seneti ya Kenya lazima iwe na heshima. Tunawajibika lakini wawe na heshima. Sifuna heshimu Samburu. Sifuna heshimu Samburu. Sisi hapana wenu. Na sisi si wewe. Penda huko.
Well, those are residents all the way from Samburu County. They went to the streets, like I had said, to protest against how their governor was handled. And I had in some other clip them asking, why is it that their governor is the one who is a thief? Why are they not questioning the
other governors?
Yes, other governors. And then I'm like, this is what has been happening in our like. So
I would like to speak about this in another angle, especially for Samburu. We also had Elgeyo Marakwet residents, protesting because Daniel Kipto was also resigned. They had banners up. Leave our son alone, leave our son alone. Your son was found in a scandal. So for marginalized people, it's very different, I want to believe. And Kenyans online, any ordinary Kenyans who see such clips will get angry. Wase wanaturudisha nyuma. Kenya hatuwezi songa mbele. What do you mean you're protesting over your corrupt governor? Kuna ile moral superiority inakuanga hapo. I used to be one of them. I used to see goons, to see such people. But I started to see it differently. Politicians act differently. The political messaging has a target audience. When Murkomen found IDs at the supermarkets, so protesters apparently, or the looters, left IDs kando, wasema nimerusha ID mnishike, sawa. He was not actually, his target audience was not the informed and exposed Kenya. His target audience, the external shareholders, and such people who don't have access to social media discourse or information. Sasa, I want us to look at this differently, How ni wase marginalized? An ordinary person from Samburu or Elgeyo Marakwet or from Mandera will wake up, take their tea, breakfast, na wende kuangalia mangombe na mambuzi huko.
Yes.
He's not going to see what you're talking about on social media. Ukiwatukana, unawaita wajinga, wapumbavu, wanaturudisha nyuma. That is what the politicians want. For you to lose hope. For you to have that moral God complex. So we should go to where these people are. How best can we get these people in this fight? We cannot claim moral and intellectual superiority over them. And exclude them and judge them. Probably on a protest, there are very few of them and they've been paid. So they are there to portray that hopelessness, that Mtuetu syndrome. It is still there,
yes,
but the politicians manipulate them. I want to look at them as victims of political manipulation. These people are being manipulated and they need more than our judgment. I believe we want everyone in this fight, even the ones you think are beneath you, even the ones you think should not vote. But the Constitution is there by there and it's fair and we love it. It guarantees everyone the same right. So we need everyone in this fight. How best can we get them? Instead of playing into their games, into their ploy of dividing us. We need to look at this differently, honestly.
Okay, let's hear from Soki.
Honestly, I don't know who gave the mandate for senators, the authority rather, for senators to take over what police officers are supposed to do. But who gave them the authority of arresting governors? But just to close up, now that Nona Pia director is like, time is up. I think for Samburu people to demonstrate that their leader is being harassed, they're okay to stand in solidarity with their leader. But For a political figure, accountability is a must. If at all you think that you're clean, why run? Why are you running?
Yeah, I think that is the question that we would want to ask. Maybe we can have a listen to Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei that talk about how these monies are lost. Yeah, then now we can give an opinion as we wind up this first hour.
One of the Senate standing orders, we need your guidance, Mr. Speaker. The issue of division of revenue, Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the Senate to discuss and pass the division of revenue, allocating to resources to governors who have failed and shown impunity to account for the public resources that we allocate to them as per Article 210 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker? Is it in order that you direct the majority leader to stand down the division of revenue bill until and unless the governors account for the resources that we are doing, Mr. Speaker? Remember, Mr. Speaker, there are two governors who have warrant of arrest. You saw the governor of Nairobi, but I was later informed he came to sign a condolence book. He did not appear before the committee. There is the governor of Samburu, who our colleagues have gone to arrest him, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order that we discuss division of...
Well, that is Senator Cherargei, Samson Cherargei, about how these monies are lost and the issue of accountability. But also this week he came to Radio Generation, and you can have a listen to also what he said here at Radio Generation, so that now we can wind up this first hour.
There's another corruption used by what we call IT revenue collection system, where you come in, you give an offer to the counties, you are the one collecting under your domain.
Okay.
So when I pay parking in Nairobi, it goes to Nairobi Pay, for example. When you go there, the owner of Nairobi is not a county government per se of Nairobi. It is an individual. So the money is swept to the account of that IT collection system.
What sort of understanding would the county have with this private individual for them to be able to collect revenue in Nairobi County?
You're not under the law. The counties are not supposed obligated to use KRA to collect.
They are not obligated?
Yeah, they are not obligated. So they can source for any IT company to collect. They pay what you call agency fee. And most of the counties are paying up to 5%.
So is that a PPP?
It's like a PPP. You want to call it so that for easy conversation, it's like a PPP.
Well, okay, we are going to get back into this conversation during the second hour with the guest right here in the studio. So this time, just give us your parting shot as we wind up this first hour.
My parting shot is also a proverb, and it goes to Samburu governor. And it says, "A monkey that honors an invitation from a lion for a feast must sit next to a tree." Thank you.
Wow. Let's hear from Hanifa also.
I just want to encourage Kenyans that change begins at the level of empathy. Empathize, get everyone in, and we will have the reimagined Kenya that we want.
Wow. Okay, thank you for that conversation that we've had.
Thank you.
We are moving on to the second, the guest hour. And of course, tonight we shall be having one Dr. Ekuru Okot in the studio, and also one Honorable Esther Passaris in the studio. So it's going to be lit because we are going to get into the depth of some of these topics that we have talked about. So do not go far because we will be right back.
The sound is fine, pump it up, turn it high, all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. We search for what really matters, the connections, the context, the stories behind the stories. Introducing Patricia Wayoa, and this is your weekly news roundup on Radio Generation, where every headline has a heartbeat and every moment counts.
Also have issues because most of the things that some laws they pass are always, some of them are unconstitutional, but nobody checks that. We only check what the MPs do. So I believe MCAs also need to be scrutinized in the job they do, because most of them don't even attend those sessions. You know, they just copy their brothers up there and sisters. So on the issue of Nairobi, I'm not even surprised. You know, when I read that, the general report, I wasn't too surprised, because I remember there's a day he was asked a question about a dump site in Dagoretti North, where I have interests, around 46 area. There's a dump site that actually is catering to half of the road. You know what his answer was? I can't pick that garbage, because if I do, it will bring about gang fights. That is the governor.
What time in the morning was he having this conversation?
I can't know, but imagine him saying that collecting that garbage will lead to gang fights. So have you left those people around that area to fend for themselves at the end of the day?
You know, Nurin, that garbage doesn't pile up overnight.
Of course.
That garbage is picked up by individuals who claim to be garbage collectors.
You cannot have a chief thief sort out theft. It can't work. What we know from the hypothesis I have is that something just went wrong among the players. So when thieves go to steal and they disagree on the loot, they always know who stole, and then they start reporting each other. Set a thief to catch a thief. This we knew from primary school. I'm sure you saw that. The teachers could set a thief to catch a thief in school.
Right.
So this is a deal gone wrong, and they regret for having get it go wrong. So let us not go back to start looking at that the president addressing anything. What is a cartel? And who is a cartel? Who is the chief cartel in this country? Let us not go to give people titles. What is a cartel? You hear this word cartel. Do you know any cartel by name? Have they named those cartels they are fighting? How can someone fighting what does not exist? For the first time for them to show they are doing, if I was president,
So for example,
I will name the list of cartels and publish them in public. These are the cartels. They are wanted. They'll be arrested.
there are tea cartels, there are coffee cartels.
But they should be named.
Petroleum cartels.
So, Mbovi, do you know any person by name who is a cartel? He speaks on behalf of the government, isn't it?
Okay.
He can speak today and name those cartels they have listed. You can't fight someone who does not exist. And also, the former deputy president are criticizing also claims to have gotten his report from DCI. So which arm of DCI is speaking? Or I'm wrong? Did you not say he got it from CID?
Yeah, he said actually CID.
So CID is where? CID is within DCI, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the same. So who owns DCI?
You know, even Oburu, as late as I think 2 months ago, was saying that Sifuna anaongea possession ya party. You see? So they have given him so much powers.
Yeah.
Paka saizi, they don't know what to do. Even his seat was there. There was a reserved seat for him.
Yes.
There was
He
with
didn't
his
show
name.
up, of course.
He
yeah.
didn't show up, yes. But the fact that there was a reserved seat means that he has some power and influence over them. And they can do nothing. Even today, the vehicle he's using around is still on ODM facilities up New Prado.
Yeah.
It's still the sunroof he's using is ODM property. So say all those things. So I don't blame Sifuna at this point because Sifuna is in politics you have to be very brave, and Sifuna is very brave to do all those things and get away with it, and that what is inspiring to others. So I wish these people realize that the people destroying ODM is not Sifuna. It is the leadership of ODM, the chairman, the party leader. They have to wake up and say, Baba taught us one thing about political parties, that loyalty is rewarded kama peremende, kama chloroquine. Nachukua 4 leo, 3 kesho, 3. You see, in installments. But disloyalty is punished there and then. That's why Margaret Langat had to leave the party the way he left. That's why Ababu Namwamba didn't realize he had been. That's even Sifuna took out the position.
Yeah.
This is how it's done.
This week,
Hawa
power was
cartels
tested
ya
in
mambo
the
ya
corridors
mafuta.
of leadership. Economies shook under pressure, and the voices of ordinary citizens demanded to be heard. From breaking decisions in high office to protests in the streets, from moments of triumph to tragedies that stopped us in our tracks. These are the headlines that shaped our week. And beyond the noise, we search for what really matters: the connections, the context, the stories behind the stories. Introducing Patricia Wayoa, and this is your weekly news roundup on Radio Generation, where every headline has a heartbeat and every moment counts. This week, power was tested in the corridors of leadership, economies shook under pressure, and the voices of ordinary citizens demanded to be heard. From breaking decisions in high office to protests in the streets, from moments of triumph to tragedies that stopped us in our tracks, these are the headlines that shaped our week. And beyond the noise, we search for what really matters: the connections, the context, the stories behind the stories. Introducing Patricia Wayoa, and this is your weekly news roundup on Radio Generation, where every headline has a heartbeat and every moment counts.
Yes, good evening and welcome back to the Generation Report. We usually say that Generation Report is a breakdown of big stories that happened in the course of the week, and of course we give them a different perspective from what you just heard in the course of the week. So tonight we are joined by one Dr. Ekuru Okot. He was a presidential candidate in 2027. 2017. Sorry, why am I in 2027? It's already yes, that's
probably because you're promoting two-term.
Not really. So that was 2017, and after that, of course, he came up with a very critical bill around the Punguza Mizigo, which is something that if it really works, is something that gonna help Kenyans, gonna benefit Kenyans. And also on this other side, we also have one Honorable Esther Passaris, the Nairobi women representative. She is in the studio. So there is a lot that we need to look into, and we want to hear their submissions. We want to set an agenda for this week from the conversations that we are going to have right here. So for those of you who are tuned in on your radio, this is Radio Generation, the home of hard truths and bold insights, right on 88.8 in Nairobi, 90.7 all the way in Mombasa, and then 89.5 all the way to Garissa and its environs. Na sasa kwa watu ambao wanapenda kufuatilia mazungumzo kupitia kwenye mitandao, pia unaweza kutufuatilia kupitia kwenye tovuti yetu ya rgk.co.ke, and also on our Facebook, Instagram, and also YouTube plus X. We are live and direct. Yeah, that is on Radio Gen KE. You are able to follow the conversation that is about to start right now. So I'm going to start with my co-presenter here, that is Hanifa Adan. She's now part of us, and I'm quite happy that this conversation is going to take another direction. So Hanifa, we just talked about IEBC. We talked about IEBC the previous hour that we just finished, and we also talked about, we were to touch on something to do with EPRA. There is a big scandal that has happened in our country right now, and everybody is just talking about it. Everybody is just thinking about it because this is something that is so critical to our daily lives. So Hanifa, maybe you can give us just a background of what is happening with the EPRA scandal.
Okay, we have 3 officials who have resigned following the scandal.
Yes.
And in another episode of Pata Pote in Kenya, the 500 million that was recovered was stolen again. And it's really amazing how this happens in this country. I don't know if Mheshimiwa has money stacked under the mattress. Is it a normal thing?
Oh no, I whatever money I have is in the bank. No, I have no money in the mattress, and my M-Pesa is always on Fuliza. I think I'm probably already on Fuliza because by the time I'm done with the day, I'm on Fuliza. So no, I don't keep money at home. I think people who keep money at home, I mean that kind of money, definitely it can't be legally earned money. Because legally earned money goes to the bank. And if you're holding that kind of money in your house, that means it's money that you've acquired suspiciously, and it must be money from corrupt deals. Because why would you put 500 million in your house? For what? And who gave you 500 million? Because if you're doing a transaction with anyone, when it's a legitimate transaction, the money will hit your bank. It will not come to your house. So for me, the fact that it was in the house already is suspect. So already, for me, it's red
It's
flags.
already disappeared.
Now, the fact that it's disappeared, I think the DCI needs to explain how, because if it was an exhibit, they have to produce it in court. So, I had a situation with City Council, Nairobi County recently. There was a Somali girl who basically sells shoes. And they confiscated her shoes and they arrested her and they charged her. And then she called me and she said, you know what? My shoes are supposed to be at the warehouse. When I pay my fine, I'm supposed to get my shoes. All right. And I called the head of the markets, or the inspectorate, and I said, this lady had shoes. Her shoes were worth about 70,000 shillings. You confiscated it. The book shows you've received them, you've booked them, but now there are no shoes. So somebody stole the shoes. And when that person stole the shoes, I said to them, I don't care. You're going to find the shoes or you're going to pay her. Those are your two options. All right. And you know what? They raised the money and they paid her. So for me, here we have 500 million. If it was acquired illegally, then it should belong to, the assets recovery, right? Anti-corruption, that fund where it then comes back and be used for the public. It doesn't disappear. Yes. So I believe that the DCI and the investigating officers who picked up that money should tell us, where is that money? They are accountable.
I believe you are a member of the Public Investment Committee on Commercial Affairs and Energy.
Absolutely.
So what would you make of this scandal?
Well,
and do you also think that the CS is entirely blameless on all of this?
As public, as PIC, as a committee, right, this is already a matter that is with the police. This is already a matter with the DCI. So we at this particular point, it's gone beyond us. All right, we can call the DCI, right, to give us a report, and we at this point it's an investigation. I feel that when the report is out, then it's for us to have a look and see. It gets a bit complicated because we look at audited reports. All right, that's what we look at. We look at the Auditor General's report, and then we look at where the errors and omissions were, and then what has been done. Why did they occur? And then we recommend for to be investigated further, to be taken to charged with corruption, etc. And then it has to move to another committee. So right now it's an investigation. So it starts from the other way. So I need to really ask, what is our role here? But the fact is, I think we can call in the Ministry of Energy and ask them to how did this happen, and to make sure it doesn't happen again. All right, but I think it's already been
happening over the years, especially in the energy sector, and
now we have a G2G. Yeah. So this should not have happened. Right? This should not have happened.
We're actually getting to the G2G.
Yeah, actually, yes, we are coming over there. And of course, the origin of this whole scandal. First of all, we're looking at what has happened. We've been seeing the war between Iran and the Israel and US. Of course, we were expecting shortage of fuel. Yeah. So we have seen, and we have. I think last week, but when I heard the president talking about those organizations or companies that are holding fuel so far, and saying that they are going to punish even the cartels. So we didn't even foresee this, which came in the course of this week. So I just want to ask Daktari hapa atueleze, atuambie kwamba kama anaelewa hii G2G, because people have questions around this G2G. Who is this G2G in the Saudi Arabian countries there?
So if I may speak from a lawyer's point of view, and somebody done constitutional law and administrative law. So there are normally two aspects to administration. So you have what we call explanatory accountability and a mandatory accountability. That's in administrative law. So picking from your cue, you say that we were expecting, but you don't actually explain, even as media personalities, what informed your view about expecting shortage of fuel. Because it isn't the first time that we're hearing in this country that we are blaming other external factors. Sometimes back, I think maybe 2-3 years ago, with the Ukraine-Russia war, we started blaming Ukraine, Russia because of the shortage of fertilizers and other things. Now you're telling us again here, because of the Israeli-US invasion of Iran, that we were expecting. But there's no informative factors how we arrived there. But be that as it may, so let's talk about KPC, because that's very big in Kenya right now, because it's impacting.
Yes.
The first time this information came to the fore, we were told that Kenya shillings 100 million was discovered in one of the. Then later on, we are told 500 million. The truth for the matter is, we don't even know how much money
we are talking about.
we're talking about.
Yeah.
So from 100 million
to 500
to 500 million, and then now I don't know how truthful Rigiji is by saying that he spoke to DCI, who are now regretting that they wished that they had actually taken that money instead of that money going to, I don't know, to President William Ruto. So we have no certainty as to how much is actually involved. So there's a whole shenanigan, I would say, around the whole question of KPC. But one thing that we are not being told as Kenyans, Joe Sang, the CEO of KPC, just before William Ruto became president, had been fired because of a 2 billion scandal. That's not being highlighted. 2 billion. Then as soon as President William Ruto became president, he was reappointed. Then, now we're talking about 8 billion Kenya shillings. Same person. He hadn't cleared his name over the 2 billion Kenya shillings then. Now we're talking about 8 billion. And let me tell you, I believe in the philosophy that secrecy was never invented in this world. Certainly not in Kenya. That if you are President William Ruto, and I know my sister and my very good friend, the women rep for Nairobi, supports the president, and he said it many times that he's a consumer of raw intelligence. And you know what raw intelligence means? You have to go back to the era of Kanu, when we have got the special branch, that even the barmen, barmaids, student leaders actually gathered intelligence. And so therefore you cannot say you did not know, for example, about MV Paloma, carrying. So I don't know the extent to which we can exaggerate it, but somebody has to take responsibility for this, because it's obvious Kenyans were duped. And now we're beginning to blame a war but I don't know. Are we even affected by the fact that the Straits of Hormuz
is closed,
is affecting fuel importation into Kenya? And I'm from Turkana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a time when that crude oil was exported from the oil fields of Lokichar in Turkana. We didn't know. We were not told what happened to that oil.
That the many trucks that were on that.
Exactly.
I remember.
So now we are blaming the Straits of Hormuz. China is not affected. Russia is not affected. But we are only talking about the imperialist world.
Yes, you've mentioned Turkana and reminded me of something.
Okay.
Which I would like to ask Mheshimiwa. There is a bill that is currently undergoing public participation. I don't know if you know of it. The Special Economic Zones Amendment Bill. Are you aware of it?
I mean, I'm aware that there is a bill, yeah.
So you are aware of the Special Economic Zones Amendment Bill?
I mean, not the detail right now, but I mean, I know that we were reviewing certain things because there's a lot around it. We want to make sure that it's tight and it also will take care of community as well as investor, because there's always been this we're putting the special economic zones all over the place, and the purpose is to bring in the investor. Of course, there's the raw minerals that a lot of people are after, and at the same time there's the community who get displaced and they have to benefit.
Yes, I was actually going there. So the Special Economic Zones Amendment Bill, in short, it gives the oil and gas companies massive tax holidays. You're aware of that? They're exempted from import duties, VAT, and certain levies.
Yes.
So they also enjoy a minimum of 10 years license.
Yes.
So the question I want to ask is, why are we bending backwards, to give billions of shillings to such foreign players, and while Kenyans still struggle to pay with high fuel prices?
No, but the thing
is it a bill you're in support of?
Yes, I will definitely support it. You have to remember one thing, that, we're not the only country that is searching for investors. We're not the only country.
Yeah, but we're literally part of the biggest country who are putting investors more than ordinary people.
No, the thing is, you can be a local investor, you can be a foreign investor, but at the end of the day, we need to make it attractive. And I'm sure when they did their study and their comparison, we realized that they can go to any other country around our neighborhood. So we're not the only ones. So if we want to attract investors with their money to come into our country to create opportunity, we need to make it lucrative and attractive for them.
Okay, and that is by
10 years for
ordinary Kenyans struggling with fuel prices. That is basically what you're saying. We need to attract them, so Kenyans have to
the price of fuel will then come down.
No, it doesn't come down.
Why not? If you bring in the investors and you're going to be doing the processing in the country, of course it's going to be cheaper.
May I step in?
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea that we need investors is a very tired narrative, because in our countries, and I think there are studies that have confirmed that Africa, and for example a country like Kenya, we are very rich resource-wise in terms of opportunities. If today, for example, that we had a very responsive government that will actually industrialize an economic opportunity in all our 47 counties. And I remember we were the committee of experts back in the days, talking about 16 years ago, when we did the constitution. And we went around the country and we found that in each and every, actually that time we were talking about districts, about 42 districts. If you go back to the Provinces and Districts Act of 1992. So we say that we've established that there are actually economic opportunities in each and every county or district in Kenya at the time. But because the conversation around transition, constitutional transition, had evolved, so we didn't want to go to the district where, because there was tribalized districts. I remember Moi was dishing out districts based on tribes, as for example how Vihiga, which was part of Greater Kakamega, was actually subdivided to accommodate, for example, the Mudavadis, as opposed to the other side. Then, of course, Busia, carved from Bungoma. Then you have got the Iteso people now being accommodated, and all at Teso, Turkana, Samburu, and all at Mandera, Garissa, and all that. But when we went to the constitution making process, we realized, actually, if we had a responsive government that actually is looking for and saying, how do we exploit the economic opportunity in each and every region of Kenya?
That was Baba's vision, clustering for every county. It was in our manifesto.
We'll come to Baba. Before we come to Baba, Baba,
but he's the first person to talk about clustering and getting each and every county to have its strength developed.
I respectively differ with you. He wasn't really the first person, because then you have to go to the history of the liberation of this country and the independence of this country. But we have to grant, Baba his credit for his agitation post-independence. But the point I wanted to make is this. If today, for example, you industrialize fish processing and production in Lake Turkana, for example, where I come from, it is the largest desert lake in the world. And like I keep saying, it's the only region probably in the world where fish die out of old age.
I saw that.
Because as nomads, we are more, we look more at livestock and all that. But I think this obsession with investors, foreign investors, is what is undermining our own in development as a country. Because we are refusing to say, can we industrialize gold production in Migori, in Kakamega, Tuman mining in Kwale, fish or deep sea fishing in the coastal region, meat production and value addition in the northern frontier districts.
So who do you expect to put the money to do all that? The government? Because government is walking away from doing business. It's trying to create enabling environment. So you need to create the investors, the technical knowledge, the money to come and do that. Because we are already in high debt. And if you want to create opportunity quick enough so that you can advance, then you need to bring in the foreign investors and you need to make it attractive.
So much, with all due respect, you are a national leader. And you represent one of the most important constituencies in our country.
Okay, let's talk about Nairobi, garbage collection. Let's talk about garbage collection, Nairobi.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I'll come to that. But I'm saying that, you being really a national leader, and I think I will say, not massaging your ego, you're a supranational leader, because representing Nairobi County, you actually equate yourself, for example, to countries, states like, for example, New York, London,
We're developing, they're developed.
Well, it's the heartbit, because
we're getting there, Singapore.
Okay, so what I'm saying, Singapore or whatever, I think that's probably
Singapore.
Or Singapore.
Come on, honestly, you guys can get sued. Patent rights in Singapore.
Let's lose the conversation. What I'm saying is this. We have great opportunity in our country that successive governments have not actually deliberately developed or nurtured. We don't. So instead, what we are saying is that foreign investment is an excuse, because then foreign investment comes with corruption. Listen, I am a student of international law and development, and I've studied global corporations. By the time these people come to our countries and say, in Turkana or Mandera or Garissa or wherever, we can see an opportunity. These are business people. And in business, as you know, you're a businesswoman yourself. Before you get into politics, you've done very well. Even by the time they took away,
Adopt-a-Lite?
Yes, the Adopt-a-Lite in Nairobi from you, it was politics. But the point I'm saying is this. We need to stop depending on these foreign investment, because that's the idea of imperialism. And let's take this debate to another level. Let's do comparative. Because in Kenya, we are so obsessed with benchmarking. 3 or 4 years ago, if I'm not wrong, one of my favorite countries right now and my favorite leaders in the world is Ibrahim Traore, Captain Ibrahim Traore.
Have you been to his country, Burkina Faso?
Not yet.
And do you know how, maybe it's not true, maybe everything that you're seeing online is just a fiction of people's imagination. Is it a reality?
But Mosh, with all due respect, just allow me to explain. I don't have to visit.
I need to visit to see if what I'm seeing online is a reality.
I don't have to go to Ouagadougou or Burkina Faso to see what's... But there is information and facts about what he has actually done in Burkina Faso. In In fact,
We don't know if it's
in
facts.
fact, no. Okay, let's talk
He's
about.
saying
We
it's
don't also
believing.
know if it's false.
Okay, so
How do you know it's false?
No, I mean the thing is, come on, you know, I mean, for me, until somebody that is credible to me has been in there and actually highlighted what has been done, right, and seen. I mean, I admire him. And by the way, I really believe that the hold of the French on its colonies is totally wrong. All right, they have actually made their colonies not succeed. I'm glad the British came, left, and that was it. But the French have continued to control the monetary and the resources of those countries that they colonized, and that's why they're breaking away. In fact, I'm in the Pan-African Parliament, and I keep saying, why we okay, we have the AU. Why are we dismissing these people from the AU? Why are we punishing them when the leaders themselves are saying that this is a good leader? We had Gaddafi, same thing. He was good for his people. He was developing, and then we, you know, as Africa Union, suspend him because of the West telling us.
If you speak about Gaddafi, and I love that you're bringing it in this conversation, then why do you seem to have a problem with Ibrahim Traore?
I don't have a problem with him. I'm saying that when it came to Gaddafi, right, I had credible friends who told me about the progress in his country, how the people got free education, how medical, how they got good money, how they got housing. You know, he was good for his people. In fact, when I speak to the Libyan people, they tell me that, you know what, we were taken so far back, right? But Gaddafi had a vision. And Gaddafi had a vision for not just his country, Libya. He had a vision for the whole of Africa. And I think the West and the colonialists were not ready for us to be able to think continental. They want us to be divided, and that's how they mapped us, so that we can be divided.
No.
So I want
So
to
the Libya is largely it's a close friend too. Yes. Let me also.
No, we need to talk about this because I think for me it's important. Mish, I agree with you that maybe you want to question the micro things happening in Burkina Faso, okay? But let's talk about the macro issues, especially the global issues that Ibrahim Traore is doing, which we are not doing in the rest of Africa. For example, Ibrahim Traore said, I don't know whether you've read the 11 Francophone agreements that actually tied the Francophone countries to France. That includes even control of their
I mean, I think it's disgusting.
the resources, their reserves and all that. You know,
Yeah,
if you read
it's terrible.
if you read those agreements, you'll be so ashamed
I
as
know.
an African person.
I think Africa Union
And
is
one
sleeping.
thing that Ibrahim Traore said was, we need to end this imperialistic control of our country. Number two, he said we need to unite Africa. Those are global issues. You may question whether these things are happening on the ground or not. Just like you, I'm sure you support this one term to be president, yeah? But when you go down to the ground...
Wait, one term to be president?
Yes.
Hold on. I support President Ruto for his 2 terms. So we're waiting for negotiations.
Can I finish my thought? Then we can come to that.
Yes.
Just like the same way you will
I
say...
mean, I didn't know you were psychic.
So let me just say something
now,
about.
now you're calling me names.
Yeah,
No, I mean, you're saying you support this one term. That means you've already concluded that when we get to 2027, he's going to be one term.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
So let me say something.
You'll be shocked.
Daktari?
Tricia, ngoja kidogo. You know, but Mwesh, it's in the open. You know you're a national leader.
Come on.
You know you're a national leader.
I am a national leader, and
you
I
know,
think...
And you know, I've known you for quite some time.
Yes,
I
absolutely,
just didn't meet you the other day.
Well, we shall be getting into that later. So let me finish up with this, what I was saying.
About the global issues that, for example, must shape the politics of transformation in Africa. Okay?
Yes.
I said, number one,
foreign
this idea
in
of
Kenya.
ending imperialism,
Yes,
which
absolutely.
Ibrahim Traore is actually championing as opposed to the rest of Africa. Number two is uniting Africa as a region. A dream that Muammar Gaddafi, for example, had.
And William Ruto has the same dream?
No, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll differ with you. there. And secondly,
African Climate Summit.
No, ngoja.
Esther, who do you want? Hanifa or Esther?
No, most I'll call you Mudhoni because you share my daughter's name. No, listen. Most importantly for me is the fact that Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso is decided that, you want our uranium?
Yes.
You pay us at the global
Absolutely.
price, which we in Kenya are not doing. We were in Kwale sending our thiomine out of Kenya, shipping it out of Kenya. Listen, I just came from Kapedo the other day on the Suguta Valley. It's a very rich valley in terms of resources. 3 weeks ago, I attended a conversation at Mudega Country Club. 95% of the people participating in that conversation were Muzungus. And they were talking about...
But you're not Muzungu.
I'm not, but
And you were there.
No, I was there.
You should have called your brothers.
Is it a majority of the people participating?
They can't afford.
Yes.
This country is not affordable for ordinary people.
I don't know why she's agitated.
So,
but I wanted to learn. Allow me to learn.
No, Dr. Harry, you wanted to be president of Kenya. You can't sit here and say that in a room, the people that were there were Muslims. And no, I mean, for me, I feel at the end of the day, we have to organize ourselves and then engage with them, because we can't dismiss them.
I have a question for you. I have a question.
If you allow me
Daktari, let me finish on this one.
If you allowed me to land, I insist.
Let him finish.
I insist.
I swear to God.
Well, this is what I was saying, Anifa, before we got into that. Actually, it's a matter of the issue of investment. Of course, as a country, we need investment. And then again, now, as a country, we have a lot of resources, like Daktari was saying. So if these resources, if your committee, the investment committee and so forth, if really, and we have a good constitution, if we really looked into our constitution and acted our constitution, I think we would not be talking about the issues that we are talking about here, because I what I can see actually is a failure to do the constitution.
Can I tell you, marketing?
Failure of leadership. And you see, the failure of leadership in this country is you have leaders elect. I mean, I can't even call them leaders. We have got opportunistic people in offices. One of the geniuses of Kenya's governance, I will say, is chapter 6, leadership and integrity. Okay? And, a constitution, by the way, is just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You must breathe the life into it. If you don't, and we as lawyers, we say that a constitution is a living text. And my good sister here and my friend ought to know that the reason she is in parliament is because every time, the letter of the constitution of the law is not speaking to you, you actually go to the spirit of it. Okay? And that's why they will come up with amendments on the constitution or on the law. Okay?
I mean,
and she will say, let me hold meetings with people in the county of Nairobi and tell them, okay, for example, there is a finance bill that has been passed. How does it affect you people? What should I take to the floor of the National Assembly? Okay? So, I mean, I still feel that you've not allowed me to learn on the question of comparative leadership in the continent, which is that if you have somebody like, say, Ibrahim Traore, and I'll come back to Kenya, who says, okay, we have natural resources. We are no longer going to sell it to you. For example, just give an example. Uranium in Burkina Faso was selling at globally at 280 euros per ton or per kilogram, whatever the case may be. Burkina Faso was getting only 8 euros per either that kilogram or per ton. But now they said, okay, you want our natural resources, you buy it at this global price from us. And the man has actually galvanized that. He has actually transformed Burkina Faso. Let's come back to Kenya. We discovered oil in Turkana in 2012. Discovery of oil, for example, ought to have decided to say that, okay, why don't we make Turkana the oil industry in Kenya? The way, for example, you talk about Texas in the
and can we do it without the white people that you said were in the boardroom?
Yes, we can.
How will we do it?
Yes, we can.
Do we even know how to drill?
Why do we need the white people? I'm not being a racist
equipment,
here. Why?
Technology, market.
And we have that.
No.
Listen,
You know,
we're
let's-
already wasting too much money lying
Let's
under
be- let's
mattresses.
Look, let me tell you what. You know, Ikur, with due respect, what's your doctorate on? Because you're doctari. You're not a medical doctor, are you?
No, of course not.
You've got a doctorate. What's your
I mean,
doctorate on?
I will have thought by now you'll have actually
I'm
checked
sorry.
my-
No, I mean seriously. What's your doctorate on? I just. What was it on?
So I'm an international refugee lawyer.
Uh-huh.
That's what I did my doctorate on.
Okay.
But I went on to do constitutional administrative law,
Uh-huh.
and my CV by this in the public domain. You
Okay,
can-
so I mean, I thought I was
No.
going to be here with Omtata. I found you in the lounge. It was Omtata initially. But anyway,
But let's back to
Okay,
that.
okay.
I need to ask him a question.
Okay,
He
let's-
was running.
by the
He
way-
was running
no,
for.
by the way- by the way-
Sometimes I
by the
see
way,
people
now that you-
criticizing
no, no,
leaders.
no.
Battery, let her
Roger,
finish.
no, no.
Yeah, you talked for so long. Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah,
Let
you
her
talked
finish.
for so long.
Now that you've asked about my
No, but there's a
now that
question
you've
I
asked
wanted to
about my
ask
academic-
you. There's a
let
question
her-
I
Let's
needed
make
to
this
ask you.
interesting.
Okay.
Let's make this interesting.
Uh-huh.
Now that you've asked about my academic credential, first of all, as you know, I'm a lawyer.
Mhm.
Me, I don't know what you are. Yeah, I don't
I've
know.
got a degree in business administration.
Okay.
Mm.
So why did it matter to you what my doctorate
Okay,
was in?
because I you know what,
Yeah.
you know, I wanted to know because. You know, you talked about Turkana and you talked
Yeah.
about the lake and you
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
once running for president.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and for me,
Yeah.
you a person who was running for president of this country,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
and comes from a region where he feels there's been so much opportunity that has been missed. What have you yourself done, right, in that region? Because you were coming to become president of the whole country. Because you know, I want to zero
He's
in
not
onto
an
leadership.
elected leader.
No, he's not. But you see, he was running for president. All right. So
Running
for
for
me,
presidency does not mean you have the power.
no,
and
but the thing is, he was
authority.
running for presidency, so he had a vision. And now he says to me that you know we don't need the foreigners to we can do this ourselves.
We don't.
So the
We
thing
don't,
is,
yes.
you ran for presidency.
Yeah.
I really believe if you had run for governor, you probably would have been governor and you'd have probably done things. Or if you ran for MP, but right now with the knowledge that you have, right, and the business people that you know in Kenya, right, and the leadership that you have in your county, for instance, where you came from, and the opportunities that you envisioned for the people there, explain to me what has been the barrier to doing what you need to do for the people that because you got to start somewhere. Right? You got to start somewhere. I started in Nairobi, going into the slums, putting in the lights, and then, it opened my eyes and it made me want to get into elective positions. And it took me 3 failed attempts. The 4th time I got in, all right? And I've been in government twice, and I know, what, it's hard to move it. But right now, I've just seen under William Samoei Ruto's leadership, I've seen Nairobi's slums transforming. I've seen
You
my
actually
citizens.
said you were shocked, but I saw your statement. You said you were actually shocked, which actually shocks us because
I was shocked when I was
you don't
driving
know
from
the
one end to the other.
constituency, which I'm very curious, and a lot of Kenyans are very curious. What kind of Kenya did you have in mind? Were you already in Singapore, or I can't put my hands on it?
When?
What do you mean you were shocked when you found out that about the roads, the infrastructure, in different constituencies?
I mean, when I look at the housing agenda and the housing levy, the reason I supported it and I even went against my party was because I visited the slums. I saw the informal settlements. I saw how people live.
When did you
I saw
visit the slums?
When I was doing Adopt a Light in 2002. All right? In 2002, and I was going to light up the
You are
informal
recently
settlements.
shocked. The statement is recent.
Recently shocked. And this is why I'm saying we have so much work to do. All right, look at Nairobi River.
My question is,
right?
Why were you shocked? Did you not already know the kind of state we live in, especially what ordinary Kenyans endure every single day?
Let me tell you, for me, what shocks me is how we can politic when we have so much work. And I'm so understanding the Nairobi River regeneration. I'm understanding the need to protect the riparian, to clean up our rivers, to build better houses. We've got so much work to do. The infrastructure fund, you can see Kenya is becoming a construction site, job opportunities, and anybody who's going against that does not understand how undeveloped we are, even within Nairobi. You go to any of the constituencies. In the past, I used to say to people that you have your Rundas and you have your Kitisurus and you have your Nyaris and you have your Karen, but when you just look aside, a little drop. You've got your Kibera, you've got your Madari, you've got your, your Soweto.
Yeah, and
so for
that
me,
is not something
so,
new.
So no, it's not something new.
Yes, but
then-
why were you
but
shocked?
It's not. Why am I shocked? I'm shocked because we have, for me, it's like we have so much work to do, right?
Yeah,
and
that
we're
is not
even
new
there.
again.
We're
We've
not
always
even
had
there.
work to do.
No, but let me tell you, this is why I'm saying there's a sense of urgency, and anybody who doesn't get that there is a sense of urgency to do this, and the structures that William Samoei Ruto has put in place with Nairobi River regeneration, it's bold.
How is that going?
All right, it's fantastic.
Hanifa,
I'm telling you,
can we have
Hanifa,
a
by
conversation?
December.
Otherwise-
by
Listen,
December-
I was just talking about
I heard you. I tuned in
Yes.
online. And you know what? I love the fact that you were objective. Because we need this. We need a modern Gikomba market. And let me tell you, we've got a population problem. So as we develop Nairobi, and I like the fact that the housing project, William Samoei Ruto did not just think of Nairobi. He thought about taking it across the country so that he can have opportunity for people to go back to their counties. Because we've congested Nairobi and we have not been able to absorb everyone. That's why when you look at a market, you build a market and you house in 1,000 people, there are another 2,000 outside waiting to be housed. And we're looking at the resources. So Nairobi River regeneration will clean up our rivers, will keep...
When it's been 3 years.
But let me tell you, Hanifa,
nothing. There's nothing to show for it. By the way,
let me tell you something.
With
You know,
billions.
did you not notice a month ago when the president was
No,
going
there's
was looking at the sewer like
I'm happy to excuse myself.
Well, I think getting back to Daktari.
Before you get back to me,
yes.
Esther Passaris, who of course I've known for quite some time, tried to be very personal, but I would like to ask her on this show. Tell me any single motion you have promoted in Parliament, because you asked me a question. Hold on, just calm down. We have some time here.
I'm calm.
Yeah, calm down. You asked me what have I done to you in Turkana or whatever. Let me ask you. You should be ashamed of yourself, Esther.
Why?
As a women representative for Nairobi County.
Why?
Yeah? And the reason is simple. Nairobi County is actually, in my view, or I can say, admittedly, the face of Kenya. Just not long ago, we have people being swept by waters and floods and whatever. People being swept away, on Langata Road or whatever, everywhere.
I'm not ashamed.
Nairobi is increasingly a slum. But what, Esther, when I listen to you, you're just a political sycophant who, without invoking the name of, William Ruto or whoever, cannot survive on your own. Yet I believe the fact that you're a businesswoman yourself. When you ask me, Ekuru, what have you done?
No.
Let me ask you, comparatively, and I'm happy for us to now...
I want to know...
You know what, I listened to you and I never interrupted. And I thought...
Yeah, if we can just let him finish.
And I thought this is one of the etiquettes that you learn as a parliamentarian, that when somebody's on the floor, you actually wait for them to speak and then you can respond.
Go on.
You ask me what I've done. I don't want to blow my own trumpet. I ran for the president of this country because I believed in myself. I promoted a campaign called Punguza Mizigo. You've never done anything like that. You never ran for president. I participated in, I midwife the writing of this country's constitution. You've never done that. I don't want to talk about my academic credential and whatever. You don't have any. You don't come anywhere closer to me. I don't want to be personal. Okay? But let's not be personal. Let's talk about Kenya. Okay? And when you talk about the things that William Ruto has done this is one of the most failed governments in Kenya. And let me tell you, I am happy that William Ruto became president in 2022 because I do believe it provided Kenyans with an opportunity to transition. Because you've been a member of one of the fake claims to dynasties in this country. For the longest time, or the Odingas or the Kenyattas, whatever. So one of William Ruto's contribution, in my view, is a blessing in disguise for this country, that he ran for president. But now Kenyans can actually say, and I'm hoping, and this is for me the greatest fear that I have, that I hope Kenyans actually have opened up their eyes to say, there is a man who lied that he is one of our own. I'm a chicken seller, so yeah, I'm this, I'm from a very humble background. And now Kenyans can hopefully open their eyes and say, okay, eventually or finally, we did install one of our own into position of leadership. We thought it can relate to us, the watu wa wheelbarrow, Mama Mboga, the Mkokoteni guys, the man on the slum. But what did he end up doing? 17 billion Kenya shillings in running State House. When we're even paying for your toilet paper, your food, your fuel and everything, you're going to take care of your children. Billions and billions. I don't know, Esther, whether you've had the chance to read the Auditor General report and see how all departments of government, including State House, are actually corrupt, are thieves. In fact, I don't want to use the word corruption because in our respective mother tongues, I mean, I'm a Turkana. Why you? I think you Kikuyu, yeah? I'm
Yes.
Somali. Esther Passer, at least she is an international blend. So I don't know whether that the word corruption actually exists in our mother tongues. But for me, in Turkana, which is the language that I speak, or Turkana, there's nothing called corruption. But if you give me money to build a road or a school or a hospital, to put medicine into people into the hospital, and that money is not accounted for, you're a thief, you have stolen. That's
Kwa
what
lugha ya Kiswahili ni mwizi.
Wewe ni mwizi. No,
Jambazi. Jambazi.
wewe ni msaliti, mnafiki.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair enough.
So as a representative of the people, I'm not elected. Yeah? But I will tell you what, I don't regret it at all. I am happy that I can speak about public issues confidently. Just the other day I came back from my village in Kapedo, where I come from. And I looked at the people, and people asking me for basic things. And I'm asking, okay, somebody's asking me for 200 bob, 100 bob. And I'm asking myself, okay, I live in Nairobi. The places that I go, the social places that I go, I can't even buy a bottle of water with 100 bob, 200 bob. Yeah, that is the state of the nation of Kenya. So when you paint this grossy picture about how successful this government is, my sister Esther, I can understand that you want to politically survive, which is okay. Because for you as politicians, for you it's business.
Are you not a politician?
Well, first
Because if you say for you as politicians, you were running for president, you were not elected, but then you are a politician.
So
for us as politicians,
he's not in power.
No,
for us as politicians,
I can.
for us as politicians,
I can respond to you. I can respond to you.
Before you
Because one of the
continue,
misunderstandings about politics, and if ngoja kidogo, one of the misunderstandings about politics in Kenya is that you think that politics is all about somebody who is elected into public office.
No.
The definition of politics for me is participation in public life. It's about public policy. It's about you engaging on the issues that affect education, your security, employment, and all that. As a Kenyan, I participate. By the way, even from here, I've just seen even a notice from my law firm, because that's what feeds me. I have a course list. I have to attend court tomorrow in the morning. So, but I will not say I cannot participate in politics. I have to. And Esther, when you are elected as a women rep for Nairobi, yes, we expect you to represent us, to tell us, for example, these floods,
I was
garbage
heading
collection.
Okay.
So I was heading. Let me just ask something or set the pace.
Go on.
Since we're already talking about what we've done, what we should do, one of the questions we had for you today was, I believe you said you're not going to run again.
I said I was not going to run for woman representative.
Okay.
Yes.
So what exactly are your plans?
Well, at the moment, my plans are to continue serving the people as the woman representative until 2027. That's why over the last 2 days.
What would you say?
That's my key focus. My mandate is not over. At the moment, I'm the current woman representative, and I have a job to do. So until 2027, that's where my focus is.
Okay.
I don't want to politic, and that's why when I'm pushed and told, say something about what you want to do, I said I didn't want to run for women representative. And there were many reasons that informed that decision. One, I felt that there were a lot of bloggers who were interested in that position. So I was having a hard time on social media, and it was getting a bit hectic, and it was distracting me. So I said, you know what, I'm not interested in the women representative seat, so you guys can deal with it. That's number one. Number two is I looked at Nairobi, and I really believe that we need more women in leadership. Much as people every time they talk about scrapping leaders, they want to scrap the woman representative seat or to remove women. I believe we need more women in leadership, and they should be given a fair chance. If you're talking about scrapping anything and you're angry about how this country is progressing since independence, we've been 90% men. So that means if the men have failed you, why do you want to scrap the women who've not even met their quota?
Because you have failed Kenyans.
We have
You
not failed
Kenyans.
So the men and the women.
My next question would be...
So the thing is, Nairobi has 20 seats.
You
No, hold
have
on.
failed women.
Women have failed?
You failed
And what
women.
about the men?
So let me give you a bit of history.
Uh-huh.
In the making
Wait,
of
hold on. Who has failed women?
You, in particular.
Me in particular?
Yes, and many of your women rep. I'll tell you
What
why.
about the men? Have they failed? You're such a patriarchal, such a chauvinist.
Yes. Leadership in this country.
Right, so don't say women have failed.
No.
Don't say women have
Yeah, the current women in leadership have failed.
No, why would you say they failed?
They have failed us. That is what I was going into. By the
can I give a context?
I want to
Hanifa,
go into
please
her
allow me to give a
legacy.
context.
Well, we have 3
building up
minutes
on
to the
that.
top of the hour. Daktari, 3
It's
minutes.
building up on that.
Anifa, you can just wind up the 3 minutes so that we get to the top
Okay,
of
yes,
the
I
hour.
just wanted to ask
and then come back.
if we're trying to...
We will come back.
On what you're saying. So I want to ask Esther Passaris, you know, what do you think you'll be remembered for?
I think
what exactly is your legacy?
My legacy
For being praising Ruto. That's what she'll be remembered for.
Okay,
Just allow her
first of
to
all-
give us
first
a
of all,
vision, please.
My legacy is the work that I've done on sexual gender-based violence. My legacy is the work that I've done on persons living with disability.
What work?
All right.
I want to be specific because I wanted to ask about the upcoming launch of the Safe House.
Yes.
So in January 2024 and June 26th last year, you talked about the Safe House, the first government-sponsored Safe House, you know, to support survivors of gender-based violence. How is that coming up?
It's almost 90% done, right? The partnership between GAF Nairobi and Nairobi County was what brought the Safe House. We signed the MOU with Nkananu, so we got the land. We've built it, and I'm willing to take you all to have a look at it. It's 170 bed. We had a bit of challenges because of the terrain and the public works estimates, so we had to redo a second tender to cater for that. So there have been some challenges on the procurement side and on the area, the topography of the area. But and you know, GAF money comes in every quarter, so we have to build, wait. We didn't have the whole
government
170.
sponsored.
Yes, it's government sponsored, but it's GAF, the national.
So how is it government sponsored?
It's National Government Affirmative Action Fund.
Oh yeah, yes,
right.
GAF.
Yeah,
We're
GAF.
getting there.
Yeah, so GAF, it's a GAF sponsored project, which I've done through. I'm the patron of GAF, so that was a project that we did a civic around Nairobi. We realized that that's a big issue, sexual gender-based violence. We had no safe house in Nairobi. This is a 170-bed safe house. We needed to have land. It took us a long time to find land. We finally found the land, signed an MOU, and then we made the procurement. So the procurement started in 2020. We started the project. So because it's 170 million, and we only have in that vote, the vote is countywide. In that vote, we have about 20 million every year. So you can imagine we have to wait every year to get 20 million to be able to continue. So hopefully in the next 6 months, we should be able to equip it. We obviously need the money from Nairobi County to equip it, because ours was to build, Nairobi County to set up a board and to take it over and manage. The sexual offences bill also was, the Safe House bill was also passed by Nairobi County. It's a partnership. So GAF can only build but not run. All right, we cannot even provide recurring expenditure. So we have an MOU with Nairobi County, and I believe that we should be able to take in the first, launch it and have the first survivors in there. But I wanted an integrated approach. From the call center, it's a lot of work. It was from the call center to the police station to the safe house, and then also to the empowerment. So it's something that it's holistic, and it requires a lot more resources than GovHead. So that's why we're looking to see how we can partner with also the Ministry of Gender and other donors. So it's a big project, but it will give Nairobians the structures, because we do so much for the perpetrator but very little for the survivor. So that's one of the projects that I'm really, really proud of.
Okay, thank you. I think now getting to the top of the hour, then now we will be back.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This week, power was tested in the corridors of leadership, economies shook under pressure, and the voices of ordinary citizens demanded to be heard. From breaking decisions in high office to protests in the streets, from moments of triumph to tragedies that stopped us in our tracks, these are the headlines that shaped our week. And beyond the noise, we search for what really matters, the connections, the context, the stories behind the stories. Introducing Patricia Wayoa, and this is your weekly news roundup on Radio Generation, where every headline has a heartbeat and every moment counts. To tragedies that stopped us in our tracks, these are the headlines.
I am Siti Muga, and every weekday morning, we wake up Kenya with the conversations that matter.
And I'm Mungala Mbuvi. From 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., this is the People's Breakfast, where politics, society, and real life meet honest discussion.
We break down politics without fear.
Ask the hard questions.
We challenge power.
And give the people a voice, not noise.
From governance to the economy.
From culture to current affairs.
We don't sugarcoat, we tell it as it is.
So tune in, call in, speak up, be part of the conversation. Every weekday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on the People's Breakfast.
Radio Generation, 88.8 Nairobi. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Patricia Wayoa, and this is Generation Report, your weekly news roundup show on Radio Generation, where every headline has a heartbeat and every moment counts. This is Generation Report, your weekly news roundup show on Radio Generation. When leaders speak, can you listen?
The system or the intelligence, they are very clever. You can be balanced in one way or the other without knowing they are balancing you.
And every morning they speak here on the People's Breakfast.
It cannot be that we will only be the leaders of this revolution when we come to the media stations. But then when people die, we do not say that we are the ones who sent them there.
Don't miss the People's Breakfast tomorrow morning on Radio Generation, 88.8 Nairobi. This is Generation Report, your weekly news roundup show on Radio Generation, where every headline has a heartbeat and every moment counts.
Women are easy to punch.
No.
Yes, we are right back to the Generation Report. Remember, this runs all the way from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. right here on Radio Generation, the home of hard truths and bold insights. And remember, we have Honorable Esther Passaris, the Nairobi women representative, and I think the issue of the women representative seat has always had a lot of questions. Kenyans question a lot about that position, and it's something that they're really they are discussing about right here in the studio. So Hanifa had something that she was asking
I
around
wanted
that.
to wrap up on the NGAF conversation, National Government Affirmative Action Fund. I'm seeing women rep all over, wanabeba parts, they're going to school supplying parts. If you go through the pages of NGAF official pages, you just see women reps carrying parts, going to school to distribute. Is distributing parts part of women rep role?
Okay, so first of all, we as women reps, and I actually, the late Margot came to Parliament during COVID, and I was concerned that the kids were being sent home, and there was one of the motions that I had put in, and also a question discussing what are we doing about pads. My biggest challenge on sanitary towels being free for students was the fact that we only said public schools, and we only said 3 or 4 classrooms. We did not take all the classrooms. We only went with the list that gets capitation, not the ones that don't have birth certificates and don't have capitation, so they are not counted. We didn't go with community-based schools, neither did we go with faith-based schools. So for me, we were actually discriminating against the most vulnerable in terms of getting sanitary towels. So that was one of the things that I pushed for. Every child should get sanitary towels, including the street families.
Is that even sustainable?
Now, you know what? Once we say that this is the law, then we find the money to do it. But when we say only public schools grade 6 to grade 8, all right, then what happens when you go to grade 9? So you see, once we say, then we try and make sure we allocate. But now the problem with sanitary towels, when we came in, we realized the sanitary towels was in education, but then when we go to the schools, we don't see sanitary towels. Then sanitary towels moved to gender. We had one shot, we distributed, but then we saw the gaps. We asked for more sanitary allocation. Then it moved back to education. When it moved back to education,
when school closes?
Yeah, exactly. When it moved back to education, we had COVID. We were told that all the sanitary towels were given, the kids were given in January for the whole year. But then we found out that that was not the fact. So again, it moved back to gender. So now, for me, 1, we are under budgeted for sanitary towels. 2, we are not catering for everyone. 3, we need to have more resources. But the thing is, there are many other needs of the government.
Resources to buy sanitary
towels to be able to
And
give.
I'm asking you, is that sustainable?
What, to give all the children?
To end period poverty. Because I don't believe it is the role of women representatives to distribute sanitary towels.
You know, let me tell you something. Today, and from Friday, I want to tell you something. From Friday, I have gone to 34 orphanages, all right, to make sure that the food that we had bought for the homes was actually delivered to those homes, to have an interaction with the
that
homes.
is charity.
All right?
It's not your work.
No, but it's not
as a
charity.
member of parliament.
It's not charity. I'm a patron of GAF.
It is
I have
charity.
a fund. Listen, you know what? This is the law that is there. Okay? I found that GAF is a national government affirmative fund for the marginalized, and I am the patron.
We
So
actually
as the
have 4
patron-
billion shillings.
As the patron, it's
Lost.
2 billion.
Yes.
What do you mean 4 billion? The whole fund is 3 billion shillings per year.
No,
The
no,
whole
I'm
fund.
saying the GAF itself
It's
is
3
mad with
billion.
corruption.
Well, do you know the
It's
thing
already
is,
mad with corruption.
no, that's a general
So it
talk.
cannot survive
There
on
has to-
charity.
no,
Distributing pads, getting foods for homeless kids.
Well, I'll tell you what, you don't see that, but today, right?
No, that is something that I can do,
no,
that
hold on.
Daktari can do.
But let me tell you, nobody's doing enough
And
of
we
it.
do it all the time.
And we do it
No,
all
but
the
hold
time
on.
without
You and
the
Daktari,
GAF
you
money.
and Daktari are
We
not
do it all the
feeding.
time.
You and Daktari are not feeding all the children in all the orphanages in this county.
And that is not your work.
We do-
Whose work is it?
We do it
Yeah,
without,
that is charity. You need to distinguish between charity and your role as a member
If
of
we-
parliament.
You know, the fact
So what
that-
exactly is your role?
Okay,
Is it distributing,
no, hold on,
foods?
hold on. You have to understand, I have a fund where I'm the patron, okay? And I am the patron
It's
legally
supposed to
and by
create
law.
sustainable
that-
solutions,
Let me tell you,
policies.
you know,
You're
sustainable
not supposed
solutions.
to depend on charity to keep this country running.
And that's why we're giving the money from the government and food from the government, not from charity. Because charity alone is not sustaining our
Exactly
orphanages.
my point.
It's not
So,
sustaining.
so what are you going to do about
So
it?
the thing is,
Every time I see your
may-
post about GAF, every post I see about the National Government Affirmative Action Fund is based on charity. Women are having
So do
girls
you
lining up,
understand?
holding a pad. Yay!
And you know
Yay! You've
something?
gotten
I'm
pads.
so happy that
no, that is not the work
So
of the
who do you want
women
to give-
represent.
who do you want to give the
That
pads?
is charity. Something that I can do, Tricia can do, and Daktari here
So
can
why
do.
aren't you? So
You're
obviously you're not
supposed to
doing
do it
enough of it.
differently. Make it sustainable.
So the thing is, sustainability comes.
Legislate.
Let me tell you something. We have the legislation. We just need more budgets.
Budget
We
for
have
what?
the
Charity.
legislation. No, we need
Because
more
I've
budgets
seen you
to give our
distribute
students.
mattress more than I've seen you create a sustainable solution for such problem. The
Well,
period,
period poverty. I tell you what, Hanifa, don't give up on the desire to become a woman representative. Get back on the
I'm
race.
giving up
Hopefully
because I don't want
get in and do
to hide
the
money
sustainable.
under the mattress.
No,
Okay, I think that is fair enough.
But
That's fair enough because we have a lot of other things that we need to look at.
Because we need to talk about IBC.
Yes.
May I weigh in? I think for me, let me remind Mweshe. Well, she wasn't in the constitution-making process, but I will tell you why we, as the Committee of Experts, deliberately decided that we want women with representatives as members of parliament. Because we came from a history where women were actually looked down upon as leaders. Yeah, you remember, I mean, in the Kanu era, I mean, for you even as a woman to offer yourself to be a member of parliament is not acceptable. There are many, for example, patriarchal, mediocre ways that how can a woman be a leader? You know, Joa?
Yes.
You know, but you know, at the Committee of Experts, Hasgays made a deliberate, during Kanu's time, there was no elected woman as a member of parliament at that time, the 211. There are only, if you are lucky, you have to be nominated, but you have to be close to power. You have to really kiss us. Excuse my French.
I think that's a bit offensive to Phoebe Osio and Grace Onyango. I think you should take that back. These were women that deserve those positions. They didn't kiss ass. They didn't kiss ass, and we don't kiss ass. We are people that actually have credibility. I was elected. I didn't need to kiss ass by 800,000 people. I had more votes than the president. So
let's use appropriate language in this conversation, please.
We don't kiss ass.
You were elected.
Yes.
And once you are elected.
And you won't.
Yeah, that's true. It's okay, fine. By the way, I'm happy not to be elected, but not to be a sycophant, or to
please,
suck up
Daktari, let's wind up that, please.
I will.
Because we have.
You know, if I was not rudely interrupted,
yes.
I will have finished what I was saying. Because I was giving a history. Why, for example, I, as a member of the Committee of Experts, and maybe for your information, because maybe you may not have read it, I was actually the CEO. I'm the one who midwifed the writing of this constitution, so I know it very well. And
so it's your baby. Why don't you look after it? You midwifed it.
I do.
You've abandoned it.
I do.
Mheshimiwa, just let him finish.
I do, and part of the reason why I'm critiquing you as Nairobi women representative, because you're fallen from the principles of why we came up with women representative. Because one of the things that we discussed at the Committee of Experts was how do we give women a political voice at the national level. That was parliament. Because we came from a history where women were actually disrespected. A woman wants to be a member of parliament, there was violence, there was this patriarchal feelings that mwanamke anawezaje kuwa ati kiongozi wakati sisi wanaume tuko, unaona? So as we deliberately said, we need to entrench it in the constitution.
And now you want to scrap it?
No, we don't. And the reason we may have to scrap it because...
No, we're not scrapping the position.
I think we should.
The problem is the bad women we have in leadership
Listen,
now.
Hanifa,
itself.
Hanifa,
I agree the
let's
women
do this.
representative and leaders have
Let's do
they
this.
have failures.
Teresa,
But we cannot
with
scrap
due
the
respect,
position.
with due respect, with due
Hanifa,
respect.
but you're not allowing me
These
to-
women,
you're not
first
allowing
of
me
all,
to
I've been
finish.
elected twice, okay? I've been elected twice as a woman representative.
Mwesh.
And the thing is, there are women out there who've been re-elected 3 times.
Mwesh, can we have
and
a
for
conversation?
me, these
And
women
they have
who
nothing
are
to
there,
show for
no,
it.
hold on. You know, Hanifa, you say they have nothing to show for
Nothing.
it. But the
Which is
thing
true.
is, go to their ground and see whether they have something to show for it.
They
I
have
don't know what's
nothing.
your yardstick. I don't know. It's easy to point a finger, but you're pointing 3 at yourself.
You make it
As far as-
easier
no,
to
no,
point
no.
fingers
Let me
at
tell you
you.
something. As far as I'm concerned, I believe that every woman that is out there that is working with the limited resources that she's working with has done wonders. Do you know I get 2.5 million
guys,
shillings
I'm
to give
a bit-
bursaries out?
No,
2.5
listen,
million.
we are not
That's
having
why
a-
I was advocating
we are not having
for
a
free
conversation.
education. My male counterpart, majority of Oba constituency MPs get 75 million. And then you want to compare us and say, what are you doing right? So for me, I believe the women with the resources that they have, all right, kudos to them. First of all, for sticking their necks out and getting elected, all right? And secondly, for actually getting up every single day to serve their people.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you that is important for women. By the way, there is no competition about women representatives.
Daktari, wind up that.
Yes, I will. There's actually no competition. It's about women competing with themselves. The bigger question, and I think that's why I agree with Anifa, is that what is it that you have actually done at that national agenda in terms of what is it that actually you're pushing? For example,
I push for housing.
Let's
I push for housing.
Please, allow me
just let him to finish, please.
You're a parliamentarian for heaven's sake. And when,
It's okay, Daktari,
when somebody is
continue.
on the floor, you listen to them.
Daktari, continue, please.
I would have loved to see, for example, you moving a motion or a law on reproductive health care for...
I have
Wait.
I'm part of it.
Sanitary towel, which is something that you guys keep on brandishing. I am a father of daughters. Yeah? My daughter, I buy sanitary towels for my daughters and many others.
And we are buying for the children who can't have it.
But you cannot
No,
use
that is
that.
charity. It's not sustainable.
But you cannot use that as an excuse
It's
to
not
say...
part of your job to distribute parts.
It's not your TOR to buy sanitary. No, it's not your TOR. You are supposed to be a representative. There are bigger issues about what is women to be. What is the women? What is the position of women in society? You know. Listen, you need to push, for example, a sustainable solution.
Policies, legislation.
Yes.
We have legislation.
Can we move to another subject? Because
Yes, please.
It's not charity.
Otherwise, I might as well.
Mheshimiwa and Hanifa, let's move on to something else.
And I'm just
I want to play this clip.
I'm just thinking right now.
Actually,
can I invite?
Actually, you're off, huh? Both of you are off.
Anifa,
Please.
Can I just invite my 20-year-old daughter maybe to have this conversation about sanitary towels, because there are, for me, I feel women representatives in this country have actually failed.
And we're not scrapping the position.
To be honest, Anifa,
we have bad leaders, but the position is fair, and women deserve
when
it.
Mheshimiwa Esther Pasari stops dancing on the political platform.
Esther Pasari does not represent that position.
No, I'm
Part
just,
of the two
I'm just using as an example.
third gender rule.
I'm just using as an example.
But you're not scrapping
It's metaphoric. It's metaphoric. I have nothing against her, but I'm just saying you're a women representative, you're elected. There are bigger agendas about the plight of women in our society. That is not manifesting in your representation. That's for me the bottom.
All right. Okay. Let's get to something else. Yes, let's get to something else. And this is about accountability. We've been seeing the standoff between the senators and the governors. Last week we had the issue of Nairobi governor being expected to attend the committee, to explain how the expenditures around the county allocation, and also Samburu governor. So after that, we saw what happened when they failed to go to that meeting, to the grilling, and something that has just surprised people is that we saw we saw the residents from Samburu County, and they came out to protect their governor from what they said he was being mishandled, he was disrespected, and then they felt that their community was disrespected because of how the governor was handled. So the question is, the issue, are we really...
There's also the director of...
and the director of...
Elgeyo Marakwet.
Yes, also we also saw people coming out and protesting against that. So now the question now becomes, are we back to the mtu wetu syndrome? Is that what we are back to?
You know, this speaks to a bigger question about the Kenyan society, in my
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I had framed that question because you're from Turkana. So I wanted to look at this topic differently, People on social media would insult them, call them names. Hawa watu wanaturudisha nyuma, this bunch of illiterates. Hawa watu ni nini? But I think for a marginalized community, an attack on one of their corrupt governor feels like an attack on them. The victim mentality they have. Hawa watu wanatu attack and They're the victims of historical injustices. I believe it's something
No, so for
to
me,
do with the marginalized communities.
Yeah.
Since you're from Turkana, Daktari, so how would civic education, like proper civic education, penetrate to such people? We don't want to leave anyone behind. We don't want to fall into the games the politicians are playing. You know, I think they're dividing us.
So let's put it in perspective. In Kenya, I mean, I think right from independence, so we say that we need to eradicate three things: ignorance, disease, and poverty.
Yes.
And of course, over the years, that you ended up with the regions. Like, for example, just before independence, there are regions like ours, the northern frontier district, that had been segregated even by colonial policy, that there was nothing useful that can actually come out of those regions. Otherwise, it was just trouble. I think if you read Blaine Harden's writings on, I think, what he calls something from Fragile Continents. So he talks about how the colonialists segregated certain regions, and like talking about now that you talk about Turkana. So in Turkana, Blaine Harden writes and says that there was actually, he quotes a colonialist and says there was nothing useful that can come out of the Turkana people or Turkana region, that the Turkana were a problem that would be best transferred elsewhere. But, fast forward, then the governorship subsequently after independence became concentrated in certain regions, and that's why you found that, for example, the people of Nyanza, for example, especially Luo Nyanza, were agitated against the Kikuyus because they felt that the Kikuyus after independence benefited more in terms of institution and all that. So what did we do at the making of the Constitution of Kenya in 2010? Even before 2010, by the way, going back to the Bomas process, there was that agitation for 4 levels of government. So you had the national, the regional, the district, and the locational level of government. And the idea was to try and bring equity or equality. I mean, it was for me more equity, because equality is an ideal that I don't think we can ever achieve, even between ourselves here. But anyway, fast forward. So when we were doing the 2010 constitution, and we felt that, what is the national cake? Ends chapter 12 on public finance. And if you look at Article 201 of the Constitution of Kenya, is about equitable redistribution of public finances. So the 47 counties of Kenya, I honestly don't believe we need 47 counties of Kenya. But for purposes of harnessing that unity and building nationhood, it was important that we give every Kenyan, wherever they may be, a feeling of belonging and unity. And if you read Article 6 of the Constitution of Kenya on devolution of services and whatever, up to Chapter 11 on devolution and whatever. So, yes, to your question. So, our governors from Northern Kenya are an embarrassment.
Yes.
They have actually failed us, because we can no longer talk about being marginalized. Because now the Constitution of Kenya has given a formula on how we can distribute the national cake. So we in Turkana, for example, we receive the highest equitable share of revenue, second to Nairobi County.
Including equalization fund.
Before that, even before, let's not go to equalization fund, because now they're using equalization fund as an excuse not to use the equitable share. But you talk about billions of Kenyan shillings to communities and regions that never used to enjoy such money. And what are they doing for it? Today, if you talk to a pastoralist, and I just came yesterday from my county, Turkana, and Turkana East.
Yes.
One of the biggest challenges is just water. To a nomadic pastoralist, once you give him water or her water, you have solved 80% of the problem. So what do our governors do? You've got poor fellow who probably just scrapped his way because of clanism, coming from a big clan and being supported by the national politics. Then all of a sudden he finds himself, I live in Runda, Karen, the Livingstone, we have got a house in Dubai and all that, and they cannot account for money that is devolved to uplift the lives of their people. Because now the constitution says you can no longer tell me, coming from Garissa or wherever you come from, or Turkana, back in the era of KANU, tumeletewa a provincial commissioner or district commissioner. Now pick one of your own who knows what your problems are. Kama ni maji, kama ni barabara, kama sijui nini, dawa kwa dispensary, here is money. Then they steal that money. So I agree with you that it's an embarrassing situation. For some of us, for example, who live in Nairobi, are coming from those counties and who still maintain that identity. You're sitting maybe in a social setup. You're enjoying, you've had a very hard day, week. Unakaa, maybe you decide, what, I want my nice glass of wine or whatever my pleasure is. Then images of your county comes up and people nakuuliza, sasa wewe Hanifa or Ikulu, what is it with your people? Hiyo aibu inatufuata mpaka in our social setting. So I agree with you. There is a big embarrassment, and I wish we
so
had.
How can we help our people? How can we bring them on board without claiming the moral and intellectual superiority over them?
Yeah. So, for me, the only way, I think, for me, let me look at it from a leadership perspective. Leadership, for me, the way I see it, is a value. It's like you being the head of your home. You must set certain rules, and those rules must cascade downwards, even to the youngest member of your family. So, for example, if we had a responsive government today, or responsive leadership at the national level that says, we have devolved X amount of billions to county X, that allegedly for the longest time believed they were marginalized. And has that money been spent properly? All I would have done, if today I was the president of this country, and unfortunately Kenyans did not deem me fit to be elected as president in 2017, and so didn't Mheshimiwa Esther Passaris, then all I need to pick is the Auditor General report and say, the county of Turkana, or I don't know, Tricia, where you come from, or Nairobi, X amount of money was allocated to you. You said you will do a hospital, you will do a road, you will do this. Where is this money? The constitution is very clear. And this is one of the things that we have proposed at the Punguza Mizigo constitutional amendment. Yes. You say that the Auditor General pick that report on your own motion, which is in the constitution, initiate investigation. Ask Governor X. These guys who are running away from accountability in Senate.
That's the Senate's job.
I know, but still, if the Auditor General, no, the Senate cannot prosecute. It can only try to impeach you and whatever. But if the DPP,
the impeachment has to come from the ground.
DPP on their own motion, according to the Constitution, can actually ask DCI to investigate. In my view, I don't need to investigate. The auditors spend about 6 months auditing you and asking you, Hanifa, wewe ni gavana wa county X.
It is the oversight.
Hii pesa umetumia kivipi? Na kama uwezi kwa county hii pesa, hebu tuambie hii pesa imeenda wapi? And I worked, when we were doing the Punguza Mizigo Constitutional Amendment Bill, we worked with the accountants and auditors. And we asked them, for example, if you were to take the stand to testify as a witness, how long will you take, for example, to cause a conviction? Most of the auditors, they told us, I only need 10 minutes maximum. As simple as that. So the problem is there is lack of accountability from the very top that answers your question. And the biggest problem today we have in Kenya is that, as we say, fish start rotting from the head.
Yes.
So from the top, if there is no accountability from the very top, why should a guy, and I know people may not want to say this openly, but I dare say it. There are cops who will tell you, mimi sasa nikipatiwa pesa na mtu wa matatu 50 bob ama 100, hiyo sio pesa ya publicity, nimeiba because I'm letting this. But kuna wakubwa huko wampatiwa mamilioni ya pesa, and wanaibia wa Kenya Why would they ask me? So it's a question of governance. The failure of leadership cascading to the very top in terms of accountability, and that speaks to Article 10 of the Constitution of Kenya on national values and principles of governance, which we really
Thank
lack
you,
in this
Daktari.
country.
Yeah, thank you, Daktari. So I get
Sorry,
back
I've taken
to
so long.
Honorable, to ask, because I'm looking at the report of the poorly governed counties in Kenya, and of course we are talking about all those marginalized counties. We are talking of Mandera leading. We have Wajir, we have Garissa, we have Lamu, we have Kilifi, we have Mombasa, Kwale, Tana River, and then some parts of Nyanza that we are talking about, Homa Bay and also Kisii County. And the issues that are being raised here on management is these counties have the highest number of audit queries that are not answered, and then again that there is low development spending, and then there was also a weak service delivery and high poverty levels. So my question would be, did we devolve corruption in our country?
Okay, I think, okay, let me just speak for Nairobi, okay? Because first of all, I'm not in the Senate, so I don't have, I'm not privy to all that, but I'm aware of what's going on in Nairobi. And I'm really grateful that the president has put in some money. And I think we've had a problem with managing Nairobi because of the population growth and, of course, the mismanagement from, right from independence, we've had a problem with Nairobi. I once was told that Nairobi at one point was so wealthy when we were just after independence, we were lending African countries money from Nairobi. But if you collect all the rates in Nairobi efficiently, even half the price of the rates, collect it all, right? All the flats, everybody pays their rates. Believe you me, we would have a lot of money. The problem with Nairobi, and they keep talking about almost 80-90% of the budget goes into recurring expenditure. Then we've also had lawyers, the profession of lawyers. They have really swindled this country because they have been part and parcel of the corruption in Kenya. If you look at the amount of money that goes to law firms, it is insane. I mean, even me, when we sit down and we see a lawyer paid for a case, but you see the kind of money that's gone into lawyers. So I think we have a problem with corruption, and we need to put more money in corruption. I remember Uhuru Kenyatta saying, "This is something I cannot even handle," and I believe. No, I tell you one thing. What I liked about what the president wanted to do was the 2 number. Where everybody pays. But then you see the problem is we politicize everything. And we say it's again corruption.
Everything is political.
But you see, the thing is, I think if we start thinking people rather than politics all the time, we will be able to save this country. He's been in office as president for the last 3 years, and for me, I believe that it was not, as you take the presidency, you have a lot of things to address and to deliver. I feel that, call a spade a spade. He is doing what he has done and what he has achieved, and the plans that he has for Kenya and Nairobi are amazing. We have problems with our garbage. We have problems with recurring expenditure, which I'm really saddened by it. I actually feel we should do something about that. But the problem is, we are one country where you talked about what can you do to change the mentality of the people. Everybody has a democratic right. Right now, there's this Tukokadi, get everybody to vote. And when you're telling them to vote, it shouldn't be just, let's just go out and vote and remove Ruto. Who are you replacing him with? That is
for them to decide.
You
said they have their democratic right.
But the thing is, I don't want to run for president. No, because I don't. All right, I don't want to run for president. But I want to support a president who I can see has a vision, and he's bold enough
and
to
that is your right.
And that is
the rest of
he's
the
bold enough to fight for that vision.
Way.
When I was going around and I was seeing all the things, when I was looking around and I was seeing how underdeveloped we are, I was happy for the infrastructure.
And I'm asking,
fund.
When did you find out that we are underdeveloped?
I've always known.
No, your statement was recently said.
No, because I was there. I was going around and I was seeing.
So you are not aware of how underdeveloped we are?
No, look, let me tell you something. When you look at Nairobi and you look at the garbage in Nairobi.
Listen, I feel you are really disconnected from the reality of ordinary Kenyans.
You can say whatever you want to say.
No, I'm being serious, by the way.
No, let me tell you
You
something.
said you were shocked
by
the situation of ordinary Kenyans.
I am shocked.
Why are you
I am
shocked?
shocked because
Why you
we have
recently-
so much work to do,
It's been
and we are
happening
politicking so
for
much.
decades, for years.
Yes. For me, it was
You're
the
just
context.
discovering that Kenya
No,
has
hold on,
suffering.
hold on. The context I was saying this is that as you drive and you go into the interior of Nairobi and you see the infrastructure that is so wanting, you realize that there is a need for the infrastructure fund to be able to put
Where
in the
exactly is
roads
that?
and to be able to put in the sewage and to be able to deliver the water. So the infrastructure
It's been
fund
there.
will
It's
do
been
that.
there for
But you
years.
see,
The
it's been
problem
there
has
for
been
years.
there for years.
It's been there for years. Let's come to the reality that we need the money to fix this, and
We've
can't
been
get
needing
loans.
the money for
Right,
decades.
and you know what? I salute the
No,
president.
we have the
for
money and
infrastructure
this
fund.
money is being
Yeah.
stolen. And you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
you know what?
No, I'm
a quick
just shocked
question,
that she's
No, a quick-
shocked
no, Anifa,
how
a quick
underdeveloped
question,
we are.
Moesh, huh?
Yeah.
And I agree with you. You say we have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
Okay, give us some yardsticks. From when to where? And
You
what is it that we have done so far in terms of steps? Because it's not enough. Because we have had this narrative for the last almost 60
Let me
years.
tell you. Let me give you
Yes,
one
we've
example.
actually discovered that we are suffering.
No, hold on.
That we don't have roads.
Hanifa.
That ordinary Kenyans actually. Oh my God, we have slums in Kenya. Esther is already
Listen,
in
I lit
Singapore.
up. Hold on, I lit up Nairobi. I went to the slums probably when you were in your diapers, okay?
I
and I
grew
was
up in the
actually
slums.
but I went into
No,
the
I
slums and I lit
understand.
them
I'm
up.
not
What
shocked.
have you? Listen,
Well,
but I went into the
Hanifa,
slums
just
and
give
I
her
lit
time
them
to
up. Okay,
finish up.
so for me, I feel that we have a lot of work to do. All right, and that work that we have
So
to
what
do.
have we done so far? I know we have a
I'm
lot
in
of
the
work.
housing committee.
No.
Okay, let me tell you two things that I'm very.
Moesh,
Let me tell you two things that I'm
Moesh,
very
let's be
happy.
constructive.
Okay, no,
Let's be constructive.
okay. Let me tell you what I've done.
Mhm.
There's a day I was driving, and I was in the health committee in the last parliament. In the health committee in the last parliament, we go to Kenyatta University Teaching Referral Hospital. I see an 8 billion shilling project stalled. I'm asking, how long has this project been stalled? I'm told 8 years. I go on social media. I make so much noise. Uhuru Kenyatta is the president. He sends in his World Bank expert, Francis, because of the noise that I made. All right. And when he sent him into the health committee, a budget was put just before COVID. That hospital has been open. That is something that you can go online and find it. I went to Margaret
I
Kenyatta
think anyone
Hospital.
can make noise
no,
online.
hold on. But you know what? I went and I pushed for the budget. I went to the Ministry of Health. I told them there's a 300-bed hospital stalled for over 25 years in Korogocho. I want to understand why hasn't it been developed. They found out it was once in transport. Nobody even knows about it. I actually take
Which
the
one?
PS.
The Mama Margaret
Yes,
Kenyatta?
I took the PS. She had no idea that there was such a hospital. I went into the budget. I went to the budget committee and I said we need to put 300 million to finish this. And I was in the health committee and we finished that hospital. So for me, there are things that I've done. And I know in my heart of hearts, I've pushed for them. And I want to, you talked about charity. You call us what we're doing with sanitary towels, saying charity.
Yeah, it is charity.
Let me tell you something. It's affirmative. We
No,
have
no, it is
vulnerable
not.
girls in schools that don't have sanitary towels.
And it is
the
not
government is funding-
sustainable.
Let
My
me tell
point
you
is,
something.
listen,
Every year is
that
growing.
anyone
Every
can
year
do.
is growing.
I can buy
Stop.
pads and I can
One day
distribute
we
them.
will give all the girls in our schools sanitary towels. We have to just continue growing the economy, creating more investor confidence, creating more opportunities,
Again with the
and
investors.
raising the tax bracket and getting people to be actually able to put more money. We've just raised the budget for women. Every county is going to get an additional 10 million. So for
Okay,
me,
so
let
your
me tell you,
idea of
every
ending
girl-
period
every
poverty
girl
is distributing
making sure,
pads
is to
every month.
making sure that every girl in this country, community, public, and mission hospital schools get it. Now let me tell you about the president. He came to Nairobi. We sat down with him and we told him, Your Excellency, we have a problem with transition. Why? We don't have children going to secondary schools. We have a problem with congestion. He gave us 1 billion shillings to put classrooms in the city. All right. So for me, there's work being done. But you know what? Those with eyes will see. Those with ears will hear. But those who want to be activists and just think that they know it all, let me tell you, the reality is we are doing the best that we can. But the best might not be
You're
enough
doing
because
nothing.
of course you can say we're doing nothing. But
Well,
you sit behind the desk and
numbers
we're doing
don't lie.
nothing.
Realities don't lie.
Hanifa, may
No,
I-
no,
may I-
no,
yes,
no, no.
may I- may I-
No. Personal
No.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
No.
I grew up in the slums, okay?
And now, Mukuru, have you been to the affordable housing in Mukuru? Have you seen how we've moved people from the slums into those houses?
Actually, the
Have you
houses
seen
are
that?
being bought by people and rented out.
Oh, come on.
Okay, let's not go there.
May I make a proposal?
let's
May I make a
get back to
proposal?
this,
Let me
yes.
make a proposal.
Yes.
I'm going to buy Mheshimiwa Esther Passaris a book called Lords of Poverty.
I have it.
By Graham Hancock.
I have it.
You've read it?
Yes, I have.
And in that book, there's a passage that for every dollar comes with 20 Americans with it. And I think the point that Anifa is making is that you're talking about proposal, but you're not telling us about the outcome.
Yes, and the
result.
actual work.
Yeah, you see, it's okay. You guys like
Go to KTT, go to the hospitals that I've pushed to have open and see the people that are getting served.
I can actually give you a record of the things that I have done as an ordinary citizen.
Then get
without
elected.
power,
Go and see if
without
you can get
authority.
elected.
No,
Come,
you're
you can't
supposed to
raise,
do
and then
more.
the last thing I
You
saw
can't
was a
be
scandal about
doing charity and claiming you're doing
you
your work
don't want
as
us
a
to give
member
the
of
sanitary
parliament.
towels with
and-
taxpayers' money so that you can create a charity to raise money and then look after yourself.
Okay,
Come on.
let's get back to the
but
conversation,
in
please.
terms-
Let's
but
get
in
back
terms
to
of
this
comparative
conversation.
advantage,
Yes.
Mwesh, I don't think it's also fair for you to belittle, for example, people like Anifa.
Let them do their work, but they cannot do what government is doing. They cannot do. And I did my part. I lived Nairobi before.
You're using our taxes,
I
first of all.
lived Nairobi with my own money.
No, you're doing charity.
Anifa,
What you and other women are they're doing charity.
Mwesh.
No, we're
and
doing
claiming they're
affirmative
working
action.
as
We're
members
doing
of parliament.
affirmative
Mwesh.
action.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this.
Hanifa feels we're competing with her. You should leave the sanitary to her. And you cannot give all the
I'm not competing with you.
Mwesh, I think there is a.
Let's
there are two
finalize
things
this
here we need to
conversation.
distinguish, let's
Daktari, let's just
No,
forget
we
about
will,
this
but you know what,
topic because we have
can I make
only
a closing
19 minutes.
remark on this issue?
Please.
Let me make a closing remark. Number one, let's agree two things. Number one, there is nothing wrong with activism. In fact, for me, I can speak as a lawyer and say that activism, for example, in terms of judicial activism, that actually resulted in certain outcomes. I go back to what is called epistolary jurisdiction in India, and when you read the decision of Justice Bhagwati of the Supreme Court of India, where, for example, a poor person will actually go and complain to the Ministry of Justice about a human rights violation, and that is converted into a claim. So that today you cannot say that a poor person from Mukuru, Kwanjenga, Kibera, Kawangware, Madara, and wherever goes, you need to come up with a plaint, you need to hire a lawyer. That is the role of activism that has actually resulted in a respect for human rights. So we cannot dismiss people like Anifa and others.
We've all been there.
No.
I was a human rights defender.
Yes, but you see, I think the problem with you, what you transition to being a politician and defending the political status quo, that is not giving
And
us
bringing in bills
that's not
to,
giving us-
quell
that's-
protests.
That's not giving us
Yeah, because I saw my country.
Why? What's wrong with protests?
Moshi,
No, there's nothing wrong with peaceful protests.
No, but-
They were peaceful.
They were not peaceful.
So why were people killed?
Let me tell you, Hanifa.
Who killed?
Please, let's
the,
not get
the
into that.
hundreds
That
of
is not our
protesters?
topic right now.
I mean,
Do we have a parallel?
It is, but then now we are not getting what we were driving
You know,
into because.
look, I understand where she's coming from. We are all saddened by the lives that were lost.
Sure.
I'm
So
in
who killed
ODM.
them?
I'm
Who
in
killed
ODM.
them? Esther, who killed them?
Look, they were killed by our police. Our
What?
own
Oh,
police.
she's
All right?
admitting.
All right,
She's
they were killed by
admitting that the police
all right, they were
in
killed by
Kenya
the police.
killed peaceful protesters.
Okay, you know what?
Yes,
At the
Esther
point when
admitted that the police
at the
killed
point- no,
peaceful
you know,
protesters
you're trying to
during
get,
the protest.
You know what? They
It's
killed.
okay,
No, she
Hanifa.
said that the
Yes.
police
Yes.
killed.
There were a
So
lot of-
why did
and
the
that's why we
police
want
kill
reparation for them as
peaceful
ODM.
protesters?
Right, because
but
you
Oh,
know,
no, let her answer it.
Anifa.
Why did the police kill
Anifa,
peaceful
let's
protesters?
elevate this conversation.
That's a question that the IG should answer for you.
Very
But for
good.
me-
We're
for
going
me-
there. So
no,
she's saying
no,
the IG needs to answer
Listen.
for the hundreds of protesters who were killed under his command.
And they were also killed in 2007.
I'm talking about your bill
Hanifa, in
is meant to
2017,
quell
in
the
2017,
protests.
I don't
So
know where
why are you
were.
trying to quell
Hold
the
on.
protests?
Because you know what? I don't want any more deaths. And the
So who
problem
is killing who?
No, but the problem is the demonstrations in Nairobi are always infiltrated.
So-
all right, and when they're infiltrated
By who?
Right, but when they're infiltrated by
the government,
Kenyans
the
who are
government
misused,
sponsored
Kenyans who
goods.
come out to steal. No, you cannot say
Listen,
that
the
government
government,
sponsored goods.
they sponsored goods.
Okay.
Because we have a whole documentary on Citizen
Right.
with
And
the
if I-
goons
and if I-
admitting
may I-
that they were paid and that they were, they brought out but not paid. They had wounds on their heads. I don't know if you saw that part.
and if I may
They
I-
were admitting that the
I never saw the documentary.
Yes, so
All
we
I can
have
say-
government-sponsored
all I can say,
goons.
As long as we have demonstrations and they are peaceful and not chaotic.
They have always been peaceful.
No, Hanifa, they have not been peaceful.
but-
People-
wait,
Have
I
you
want
seen
I
the
want
shops
to
that were
understand.
looted? Who looted the shops? who create? Is that peaceful? When shops are looted?
Well, I
And
think
so
the
you know,
I
so
think
the
the issue
police
of
shot people who
protest
looted
is another topic that we need to talk about. Yes.
I think to be honest with you, I don't think we are helping Kenyans in this conversation because of the following reasons. Number one, you cannot pretend, because I know you support the current government. It's your right. It's a democratic society. But you cannot also pretend to us that from 2024, from the Gen Z protest, is now when you are thinking about compensation. We may want to.
I had a motion on
please.
reparation.
I
before.
I never interrupted you in your
Yes.
conversation, please.
Yes.
If you have to pedal back to human rights violation and atrocities in this country, we can go back to as early as 1992 with the land clashes and all that, the 207 post-election violence, and thereafter, and every election era but you cannot now pretend, being a supporter of this government, that it's only in 2024 2025 that you are telling us let's do an investigation into who killed who and then we compensate them. You're only now talking about
We're talking about reparation from 2007.
No, I don't think
Not
so,
just
because
now. All political
how many people have we
reparation.
identified? The
We have
report
a list.
identifies about what, 200 and, is it 2000
Grace
or something?
Agenda has a
No.
list of all the
But-
survivors
but listen,
and the victims.
but listen, be that as it may, I think I go back to the fundamental question, which is that you, as a representative of the people, you can make these propositions. Anifa, as an activist, and by the way, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being an activist,
absolutely.
and I support it fully, because sometimes you need activists to be able to awaken a sleeping regime like this one, a murderous regime like the one that we have right now, that is pretending that after killing young people, all of us here, I don't know whether all of us are parents, but at least I can say that you and I are parents. You kill my child because who are just armed with a phone and a bottle of water and chanting, "I am peaceful," and then you shoot at them. Tell me, for example, the policeman who killed Ojwang in a police station, Boniface Karaoke, just holding. For me, I find that very painful.
Absolutely.
And therefore, to defend, to say, people are violent, it's a matter of evidence. If somebody actually went and robbed shops, why is it that?
How did they identify those who are looting and those who are peaceful?
No, hold on. First of all, I think we're mixing two issues here. All right? She brought up my public order bill, and I told her I felt that we needed to regulate demonstrations, because when they turn violent and when they start looting, it actually is not good. And I'll tell you, during the demonstrations, Hanifa, one of the biggest challenges we have is a lot of girls get raped and defiled during those demonstrations.
By
and
who?
I know it.
So who raped them?
By who? By the citizens, the people who come out and take advantage.
That is a very serious allegation.
It happens. Why? Who do you think rapes?
Who raped
Who
them?
rapes?
Listen.
Who rapes? Every time there's a demonstration, every time there's a political
Okay,
rally,
okay.
girls are abused. It happens.
No, let
Go
me
and
play
talk to
devil's
anybody.
advocate.
Go
Let me
and
play
talk to
devil's
anybody
advocate.
who deals with.
Roger.
As soon as you have a demonstration, you've got a lot of
They said
survivors.
protesters
Mwesh.
had looted at the
Mwesh,
supermarket,
Mwesh.
but we
I'll
have
play
videos of
devil's
the
advocate.
police looting the supermarkets.
Okay, let me ask you.
Anifa,
Let me ask
let
you,
me play
Anifa,
devil's
and also
Okay,
Daktari.
you can ask.
Let me ask you, Daktari.
In law we say,
Let's listen to her
he
question.
who alleges must prove. You are saying to us that girls were raped.
Many.
It's okay.
During
Wait, do you
during
have the
demonstrations-
statistics?
Yes, during
Which protest?
I hear you.
every protest, every political rally, you always
women were
have girls
unfortunately
abused.
raped
Mwesh,
during
Mwesh,
last year
Mwesh, I hear you.
protest, Sabasaba. Okay, what other statistics do you have? How many women were raped, and how did you come in?
Every time you have that kind of crowd coming into a place, our girls are vulnerable. Just remember that.
Of course,
Yes.
I've been into protests.
Yes. So our girls are vulnerable, and I feel that we need to have order so that our
So
girls,
it is
you
the
know,
police,
you cannot.
the government-sponsored goons who create chaos in protests. But you're
Hanifa.
coming up with a bill to quell the protests because apparently it is
No, to bring
protesters.
order.
Hanifa,
You know,
let me ask
to
you,
bring order.
do you believe that protests can be infiltrated?
Of course.
Possible. Exactly.
Do you
can
believe
be
that?
Yes.
Then now I think we should end
End it
that
there.
discussion.
Exactly.
No, but see, no. But your
No,
question is not
we are
complete
not
because
ending
if
there.
you say it's infiltrated,
By who?
We-
By
we-
government goons.
So
government-sponsored
either
goons.
government and also
I've
goons.
dealt with a goon that was trying to, scare us out of town. I've been attacked by a goon, and there's a video
during
of
the
it.
Mandamano.
Yes,
Yes.
during the last year's protest.
Yes.
So yes, that is the kind of infiltration that we have. The shrinking our civic spaces. What Esther here is trying to say is that the protesters are the one who are, causing chaos na hizo vurugu zote. It is the police and the state sponsored goons.
I want Hanifa. If you were robbed today, would you walk into a police station and complain?
Of course.
All right.
They are not doing me a favor.
Okay. Yeah.
The police are not doing me a
don't
favor.
stereotype the
I am
police as an
stereotyping
institution that they are the ones who do the wrong. Let me tell you,
you just
need to be in
admitted
the
that
country.
it is the police
you
that
know,
killed protesters.
Yes.
Did you not say that?
Of course, the police shot the protesters. Yes. And that
Why?
IPOA is handling.
Why did they shoot
Okay,
peaceful
so the thing is,
protesters?
each and every one of them has a case to answer. I cannot answer the case for them. All right? Maybe it was mental health. Maybe it was pressure. Maybe it was. It could be a lot of reasons.
Okay, so he has.
So the police or individual. Listen, the individual police who shot
Tricia.
is the one who will have to answer those
Please.
questions.
And how many
All
are
I'm
they
saying
being held
is
to
that we-
account
you
now?
know what?
Please, can we be orderly?
Doing nothing about what
Okay.
has IPOA done. No,
That's
let's
the question
listen.
for
What
IPOA.
has IPOA done?
IPOA
We are
is
the one
done
who is giving them the credit.
Anifa,
Yes.
let's
wind up this.
forget about generalities.
Yes.
I just want to use a simple example. Simple example. Boniface Ojwang in police custody in Central Police Station, killed and died in police custody. Where ideally, if you look at
It should be a safe place.
the history
Should be a safe
of
place.
criminal law, even if I have nowhere to sleep, I could actually take refuge in a police
True.
station and say I'm safe. But here is a man, for example, who is arrested in his home in Oma Bay. There is a police station in Oma Bay. There is a magistrate.
We
court,
know
there's-
that case.
No. But I'm just being specific, Mwesh, and I'm just saying, instead of talking generalities, yes, I can understand maybe in political rallies, political demonstration, there is infiltration because of the political
Everything-
nuances, okay? And there are people who have interest that they can actually influence to disruptions. But let's talk about a man in legal custody.
That was wrong.
Let's talk about Boniface Karaoke just holding mask, and then a cop actually should. What has happened to those cops? Where is the outcome of who killed Ojwang in police custody? And I'm
And
just
the
using it as an
IG is still in
example.
power.
But yeah,
She
I'm just using it as an
admitted that
example.
It's under his rule.
Yeah, so Anifa,
Authority.
I don't want to go general, but let's speak specifically, and that's the reason why people were faulting government of the day and saying, come on, it's okay, you can make the lopsided argument that there could be infiltration, there are criminals in a demonstration or whatever, but tell us
Sponsored
what
by
you
the
have
government.
done about this specific case, which is so direct. A man under your custody, you transported this man over 400 kilometers from Oma Bay, to Central Police. Okay, what have we done about it? You see, that's why people are saying,
Yeah.
how then can we believe this government in terms of enforcement of the rule of law?
Yes.
Yeah. So tusidanganyane.
In a banana republic.
Let's not lie behind the fact that Ama.
You know what?
Are we making sense? Let's have a
To
conversation.
call your country a banana republic, I think is wrong. Number one,
It's not wrong.
look,
It is
it is wrong.
No, it's
okay.
it's
At the
based
end of
on
the day, there are certain things that are definitely not right. All those who lost their lives during those demonstrations, it was wrong.
And
I
everyone involved
and now
needs
we are
to pay.
pushing for the reparation for them. We cannot bring them back. But the biggest failure would be if we don't learn and we don't strengthen our institutions.
No, so you're going to kill people and then learn from it.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's happened. Hanifa.
When-
So the question is, we have to learn
What happened, and everyone
Okay.
involved
And we have to
needs to
improve.
pay.
We
We're
have
not
to
going to
improve.
move away from that. And I honestly don't like how she's really...
Yes.
Mwesh,
Yes.
Mwesh,
Yes.
when you talk about reparations,
Yes.
let me not be personal because I come from Kapedo, which is known for all the violence and whatever. Yeah? Let's go to 1982, the Wagala massacre.
Yes.
So when will we compensate
Yes.
the
You know-
victims of Wagala massacre?
You know.
When?
You know.
No, let's just talk about it. Likoni massacre, the Garissa, whatever.
The Kware
I don't even want to talk
massacre.
about, say, Turkana. Because
Even
for
the-
me, I come from everyday where the sound of a gun is like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know? People don't even want to talk about
we
us.
have around 6 minutes
but I want to
left,
talk
so
about,
we can wrap it
But I
up.
want to talk about the documented massacres in this country. Wagala massacre, documented, overseen by government official. When will you compensate?
Do you know?
And even
you're
the
a lawyer.
Kware. What
You're a
happened
lawyer.
to the Kware
and this is what I
massacre?
want to put a challenge to you.
Mhm.
All right?
Mhm.
At the end of the day, recently I even met the bomb blast victims, and they were also asking for compensation. I have no idea if there is a court case right now on that issue, because I've seen us go all the way to London to try and fight for compensation for the Mau Mau. I believe that there has to be a way that the Kenya Human Rights should actually put all this, because we're asking them to give us the data, and stage by stage we have to have reparation, because at the end of
And
the
what
day,
about justice?
lives, the justice, of course, the people who pulled the trigger, the one who killed, should be actually sentenced.
So the
I have
police
no
and the
apology
IG.
for that.
I will ask another
If
one, please,
he's the one who was responsible, yes.
Let her
Listen,
finish, please.
We will not finish this conversation because we need another part 2. Kiamba massacre. 207.
Yes.
People were killed in Kiamba.
In the church.
In the church.
By who?
When will we compensate them?
Okay, I know where
Now
you're
that is
going.
documented.
I know where
No,
you're
no,
going
no,
with
we're
that.
not-
But you know something, I would.
Oh, no, where are we going?
Let me tell you something. I know where you want to go with that. For me, the church.
Where are we going?
Where are we going, Esther?
The
Where are we
church,
going?
The church. What happened in that church was wrong. All right. What happened in all the I was the one who was burying 97 bodies in 2017. I took care of all those 97 bodies, and I know what it felt like for each of those parents to lose their
Have you
children.
asked for
So
that
I want.
compensation?
Yes, I have.
You just said
and
we
that's
need
part
to
of
move
the.
on.
Okay,
No,
what is the
I did not
status?
say we need to move on.
You
I
said
said no.
we
I did
need
not
to move
say
on.
we need to move on.
I think
I
she's
said
sort of,
we need to make sure that we compensate, and we need to learn
And
from
what
our
about
mistakes.
justice?
We need to learn from our mistakes. Justice
No,
is a
mistake.
reparation,
Killing
and then
people-
also bringing
killing
to
hundreds
account.
of peaceful protesters is not a mistake. It is a murder massacre.
Yes, and the
everyone
person who
involved
pulled the
needs
trigger,
to pay.
the person who pulled the trigger needs to be
Who
brought to
pull-
account.
Who pulled the trigger?
Whoever shot it.
I think
Who?
Anifa,
Yes.
I think she's talked about
Reparation.
the reparation, and also justice
You
must
cannot
be
exist
served.
without justice.
Yes, that one. Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
of
You're not going to move
So
away
it's
from murders.
it's important. I think now with only 3 minutes remaining, I'm going to give you each 30 seconds to give your final remarks.
I can start and
Please
say
go
that in conclusion, I sympathize with Mheshimiwa Esther
Your 30
Passaris.
seconds is about sympathy.
Yes. I sympathize with Mheshimiwa Esther Passaris because defending a regime such
I
as this
know.
one is so difficult.
It's
one
not
of the-
easy.
One Herculean task. Well, lastly, I will say I know we are supposed to discuss about IEBC.
Sure.
Let me just remind Kenyans of a man called Joseph Stalin, who in 1912, I believe, he said that those who cast the vote decide nothing, but those who count the vote decide everything. I know there's a lot of conversation about Tukokadi, and then of course some of the policies that's emerging or directions from the IEBC, and we hope that they will do the right thing so that this country doesn't degenerate into another post-election violence in 2027. But most importantly, I just hope that Kenyans going into the future, we can now have some introspection about ourselves. Where do we want to go as a country? And I really hope that even as leaders elected, like Mheshimiwa Passaris, that we can genuinely have a conversation that takes our country forward. We don't have necessarily to defend the regime of the day because we are aligned to it or because we support it. Let's look at, for example, the geopolitics, what's happening.
Yes.
Even the Americans right now, they are protesting against their elected President Trump.
Thank you, Dr. Your 30 minutes are up. Your 30 minutes are up. And
But-
again,
30 seconds,
sorry,
I think we
30
have
seconds.
an-
Before you,
under 1 minute
before
left.
you end, actually, somebody is saying that you've used an inappropriate word about women. They are saying that you give them an apology.
Which word is that today?
Which one?
The issue of the kissing.
Kissing us.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So somebody has just said that.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. I mean, listen, I apologize.
And the
Yeah?
position
I
is not
Please,
supposed to
just let him finish.
I do apologize if I offended anybody, but it was a metaphoric use of the term because of the expectations of what representation ought to be. Unfortunately, in terms of the realpolitik, that isn't manifesting with women representation because we'll have thought that they will pick a bigger agenda. Like, for example, reproductive health right or gender equality in political appointment and all that. But instead, what I'm seeing is that some women represent a majority of them, maybe not all of them, I will say, who just dance to the tune of political patronage, political parties, political leadership. But I take the word kissing as, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Your 30 seconds.
Yes. Okay, when I got into government the first time, I just thought I was going to go in there and just fix everything, But it's not that easy. But the things that we are managing to achieve, right, are going to help the people of Kenya. And I know that the need is higher than the pace at which we can move. But all I want Kenyans to do is to appreciate. You have to appreciate what you have before you can receive more. So I appreciate the landmark projects that we're having that in this country, the jobs that are being created, not enough, but they're being created. The teachers that are being hired, the dams that will be built or are being built, the transmission lines that are being set, those houses, the schools, the country being stable, we're paying our debt. We haven't had a situation where we've not been able to pay our debt. We've got foreign reserves. We are a country that is progressing well.
Thank
Peace,
you.
and we will have prosperity.
Thank you, Honorable. So, Hanifa, as we wind up.
Okay. Mine. I wanted to speak about this, but the time is not there.
Yes.
No, but I just want to remind Esther that I don't know if she's aware, but we have a report on femicide, decades of femicide from 2016 to 2025 by Odipodev. So it says at least 1,069 women were killed between 2016 and 2025. So in 2025 alone, we have documented deaths of at least 102 women. I don't see anything substantial happening around femicide cases.
Thank you. Thank you.
No.
You're not
Let me
responding. Yes.
finish. And
Yes.
that is something that she and other women representatives should focus on. They are being chased away from femicide much. They are not involved in any way trying to solve this problem that we have. And it is not fair. I don't agree with him demeaning women or saying that the position should be scrapped, women, the current bad leaders we have, that includes the women and the men.
I didn't demean women.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Let's be clear about that.
Does not mean that the position should be scrapped. It is our right. It is the right of women, the right that they have fought for and rightfully deserve. So that I would end my submission with that.
No, but Anifa,
Well, thank you.
the same way you are saying, let's not scrap the women representation. There are people who have called, for example, the scrapping of Senate or reducing members.
I think, Daktari, we are done with that topic.
over the time
So thank you so much, guys, for coming. Thank you also to the viewers for choosing the Generation Report right here at Radio Generation, the home of hard truths and bold insights. Remember, Generation Report will be coming every other Monday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Expect a lot of conversations around governance, around administration, and also around politics. So until next Monday, please take care of yourself. Have a good night.
Radio.